Oops, I think I went live. Okay, so put this thing here. Yo, it has been a minute since I've streamed, and I actually took like, I think like a proper winter break there. So I need to get back into life, into development. Am I streaming correctly? Maybe. So I signed up for this course here. I've been meaning to do this for quite a while, and I think I've taken one or two other CGMA courses. They're really good and consistent. There's another company that does them really well too. I forget. There's probably several, but this one specifically, there's two I want to take. I'm interested now in actually any Houdini ones, but the one I'm starting with is from Clinton, who's the owner of Decagon. I met him at GDC last year. And, you know, if you're looking for like the best Unreal Engine environments on the marketplace, his company, I think hands down and most consistently makes the best ones for environments, and, you know, demonstrates like a daily basis, like his command of modeling, texturing, and specifically for game engines, both Unity and Unreal. And he teaches a course on it, and I keep seeing these like demos everywhere, so I finally signed up for this. So I'm gonna take this. This goes past GDC, so I'm gonna end up like missing a bunch of it. But, you know, it's primarily Maya, ZBrush, Substance, and they use Photoshop. So I think they're using like Endu and stuff like that. So I'm probably gonna just use whatever tool I know. But I'm more interested in like the high level concepts and just like what the whole process looks like. And his shader setups inside of Unreal Engine always confuse me. They're just a lot more complicated than I usually set up myself, so I'm interested to see how they do it. So that one's going down. I'm not ready for this one yet, but I've been experimenting with rocks and getting into terrain stuff as well. As much as I can, I want to generate it procedurally in Unreal Engine itself, but you know, you got to be able to do it Maya ZBrush style first, and then Houdini, and then Unreal Engine. I think that's like kind of the pipeline. So I would take this one like after, maybe. Just keep learning. It's easy to stagnate and just like do the same thing over and over again. And these courses, they're like 1,000 each or something like that, which for me works. If I did like, you know, a couple a year, it's a write-off. I think it's a write-off, and then just keep learning new stuff. So those are going down, or at least this one is. And so today, oh no, okay, I gotta move some stuff. Hold on a second. Put this thing back here. Put this here. And my streaming setup's all broken because I haven't done this for a while. It's a good winter break. It always takes me a while to get back into working like full time. But I made a lot of progress with the terrain system. It went like 10 times further than I thought it was gonna go. I don't know how it got this far. Actually, I was just gonna generate like a couple like planes. Honestly, they're just like planes in Houdini, and then bring them in to Unreal and call it a day. And then I got the idea to like actually scatter grass across it, so we can basically oh, what the fuck happened there? What happened to the grass? Did I delete it or something? What happened? Why does that happen? What's this? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so we still got to work on this. So these terrains can either be sculptable or not, and if I didn't flag this one as sculptable, so it's broken when you sculpt it, because it's using a different function to scatter the grass when you sculpt it. But, you know, these are what I was originally just gonna make this. It's just a plane with a Perlin noise across it, or simplex noise, I think is like the, I don't know if that's a Houdini noise or someone else did that, but it's like a better looking Perlin. So it's just a little bumpy, just a little bit, but still pretty much a plane, so that I made it so they still tile. They still have a couple issues, but like you can snap these together. And I modeled it in the way that I wish that, oh damn it, I gotta fix this. I wish that like all photogrammetry assets came this way too. They all kind of like terminate down back into a common snapping point, so that you can kind of, wow, okay, I gotta fix this. You can like put them together like this, and the scene is like more or less hidden. Not for like a video game level, but for previs, you don't have to go any further than that. But I figured out a cute way of scattering this grass. It's working pretty well. It's basically what, you know, landscape grass does in Unreal Engine. It's using GPU instancing, etc., so it's just as fast. It doesn't cull. I don't have any culling settings. I'd have to manually write that into it. But these are, you know, basically runtime landscapes at this point, and certain ones can be sculpted. So I gotta package this up. I'm not like ready to like fully get back into like programming just yet, so I'm just gonna do some like kind of like packaging work for this, and then I want to put a I need a tool. I need to make a tool for this so that you can like see what you're sculpting. So these are gonna go in there. I'm gonna make a prefab that's like an exterior park, which people have been asking for. So this is the sculptable one, I believe. So this is really hard on my computer. Let me see how this. Does this lag when I'm streaming it? It's not too bad. So this sculpting is pretty intense on the computer. Like even if you sculpt in like Unreal Engine Editor, it's pretty hard on your computer. Cause I actually am I could probably look up the source code and how the editor does sculpting, but this is a fairly dense mesh, and you're line tracing into the mesh, and then you're asking what vertices are within a certain tolerant or radius of it, and then you fucking move all of them at once, and you have to check the whole mesh, and it's heavy, and it's in blueprints right now, so it's slow. But if I compile it, I package this, and you do it in packaging, there's no lag. It's like really fast on my computer. But this is a candidate to go into C++, so if I feel like hurting myself, I'll rewrite this base class so that all the runtime sculpting happens in C++, and maybe I'll make it like a plugin, which I think is the proper way of implementing something like this, so that anything could be sculptable, any mesh. What up, Dream? Where am I from? Boston. Oh, my neck. Oh my god. That was a break. That was a long break. I don't like breaks. It's hard to come back in. So it's a little laggy in editor, play in editor, because like this is a chunky script to have that happen. But you know, as deep as I want to push this, I think I can basically rewrite all of the editor sculpting tools, not all, but like I can write ZBrush sculpting tools into this, but I think it's really coming up with like a simplification of it. The next thing I'm going to start to write after this is like kind of like a runtime voxelization of this type of system. So was it this one? 5. Because these are clearly, oh no, ooh, these are different tiles, and I think I can write something that starts to merge them together. Like it's kind of like a runtime Boolean union voxel thing where it'll sense that this is like it's overlapped, and it'll query across the boundary, and then it'll fill it in, so you can start to mesh them together. That will be also very laggy for all the MacBook Air users or just underpowered laptops, because it gets pretty rough to ask, you know, all that to happen. But that would be pretty cool. I've never used a tool like that, actually. Like ZBrush, I don't know any programs where you can like, I mean, you could technically do it in any DCC, but you know, to have the combination of these things snapping together, they're being pre-set up, they scatter the foliage dynamically, and then if you could start merging them together like clay, kind of like Oculus Medium a little bit, or any voxelization kind of sculpting program, that would be cool. Yeah, and then I don't know how I'm gonna get this back to the editor ultimately, because these are really expensive components, but I don't know. That's kind of the environment system that I would want. Even like the Unreal Engine Editor environment system is a little bit like it feels like kind of like engineering. It's not as like artistic friendly as I would like it to be, where I can just like make it up on the fly. It takes a lot of planning. This tool I'm trying to write, it would be like more just like improv environment sculpting and building, and it handles all the back end stuff. You don't have to optimize or set up any of the materials or the foliage and whatnot. Just does it all for you. And the other question is vertex painting. I think I could vertex paint this in runtime as well. There's like no reason why not. And then it's just creating the material that can read from the vertex paint and then does like the height lerping and edge lerping, all that stuff. Ugh. This is runtime sculpting. Using stock Unreal Engine, like, you know, like is No Man's Sky Unreal Engine? I forget. I think it is. But there, Astroneer is. There's like Voxel. There's other people who have done runtime sculpting in Unreal Engine. But it's most definitely custom. Like, they wrote their own custom implementation of it, but I'm using stock Unreal Engine to do this. This is just 4.22. I don't have anything custom written. It's all just blueprints. And like basically after like 2 weeks of using, or 2 weeks, month, 2 months, I don't know how long I've been using Houdini. Houdini kind of like reprogrammed my mind to think about things in like kind of like a smaller level of detail. Like I never thought about talking directly to vertices in Unreal Engine. It's not something you typically do, or at least I don't typically do. You might do that in like a shader or something like that, get like vertice world position or something, but to actually change the vertices location at runtime, I just never thought about really doing that. But in Houdini, everything is like, not everything, at least what I know of Houdini, a lot of it is like copy to points, and everything is a point, and then you turn it into a vertice, and then compute polygons from that, etc. Like, so I don't know, that mindset just kind of like made its way back into Unreal Engine. So I figured this out, and I think I can solve. Actually, that solved itself. Like, that's fine. That should not. I have to run a smooth over the whole thing, so I have to basically write by hand like a smoothing algorithm. Shouldn't be too bad. But like these are two different tiles seamed together. Well, obviously. And that's fine for me. If I ran a smooth over that, it's going to be hard to keep this tangent, but I think it's possible. Especially if I start to generate these tiles like a little bit with like a little bit more overlap, and then come up with a smooth and then like kind of like a voxel merge of the two, so these become like one static mesh. And then I basically give prefab, pre-sculpted versions of these. You just start mushing them together, and they all snap together, and you have like a pretty cool runtime environment system. And I definitely have to rate it in C for this to run well, because I want to be able to like run around and sculpt, and it's like it's very, you know, it's a lot to calculate. There's probably a lot of optimization things I can do to like not query the entire tile. But that'll be cool. And the foliage is going to work out. It's currently, it makes an array, or there's, I mean, in the procedural mesh is a complete array of all the vertices, so I have a ton on there, and it's copying to points in Unreal. And I added the random rotation now, so it randomly rotates. It's not randomly scaling. We can add random color, all that stuff, but it needs to... It's not stopping it from copying the same grass to the same vertice over and over and over again. So the more foliage you add to it, the more likely that's happening. So that's why there's all these like bald spots. So if for the grass I store a, I basically make a separate array of vertices to where to spawn the grass, I can take away that vertice once it's added until we reach over 500. So basically I want to be able to cover the whole thing. I don't like these random patches. I'm not sure. I'll write a couple different like scatter algorithms and see which one feels the best, like just looks the best. And then it's about having multiple things scattered. I think 3 is like the magic number. You scatter 3 different types of grass, it looks pretty good. And then I need to make all the grass in Houdini and atlas it or something like that. Something that's a little bit more performant than how I'm doing it right now. Ugh. Yeah, so there's this thing, but that's some dense programming to make that happening. So I'm gonna just do some. What was I gonna do? It's been a break. Oh yeah, easy things. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna make a prefab park. That's the one. That's the one. So I have all these terrains now. I don't know how they're gonna work as prefabs yet, and I have some fences, so that equals a park basically. What do I call them? I call them collections internally. Stuff is not organized very well. So let's see. So this is the base class. Child blueprint. Looks like I'm naming things CTC now. I'm going to call it Park 01. I need to double down on prefabs. And if, I mean, I keep looking for things to like delegate. And I'm not the best layout artist. And I feel like that's something that could possibly be done. Like I make all the parts for now. I don't want to be the one that makes all the parts forever, but for now I'm making all the parts. And then like a professional layout artist can take like one sphere and make like a whole world out of it, and like that's not my strength, and nor my interest really. So I would maybe at some point that would be like a collaboration. It's like someone can just take the prefabs and take all the parts and make the prefabs for me. And then I need to make like a modding. I still haven't figured out all the technical backend to make modding happen for this, but it's basically releasing some sort of build of this, like a stripped out version of the U project that exports the same U asset format that I can import and stuff like that. I gotta look into that. Sessions really got me like thinking about that a lot more, because people are modding Session like crazy, and they're just putting Unreal Engine Marketplace maps in there. So I don't know how that works. So at Park. So let me get my blueprints. This is a little bit sketchy because I haven't finished writing the terrain system yet, but I'll be putting them in prefabs. So this is crashy / it's not even savable. I haven't serialized the terrains yet. So how's that gonna work? Oh, I have to write the serialization. Ouch. Ooh, I didn't serialize the terrains. That's kind of harder. Especially now that they're sculptable. I have to save the sculpt state, and I have to save where the foliage got spawned. That sucks. That's hard. Oh yeah, and these are okay. Yeah, so this is okay. Maybe I'm not quite ready for this yet. They started off really simple, and then I like tried to do something, and it worked. Then I did something else, and now it's super complicated, and I'm not sure how to save it, which is always the issue with any of these things. Like the more complicated, the harder it is to save it. These are all dead, these first three. Those are like the first Houdini ones I made. Then I made ones that like actually tile correctly. Then I put foliage and then I sculpted on them. So I guess it could be this one. I'm gonna look at this thing. What's up, Adrian? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't have time to like I fully explain what's going on. Okay, so this is one of the Houdini tiles I made. That's the flat one. This one is not sculptable. It's in the base class, but I didn't turn it on. So I'm going to start using this as a tile block. And they're a little expensive because they're all spawning grass onto them. I think every time you save it... if I compile it, yeah, see, it's... I need to cache where the grass gets stored because currently it's like always updating it. Anytime you touch it, it updates the position of the grass because of the way that I wrote it. So I need to cache it. So this is going to need to store. This is going to have a cache of where all the grass goes and a cache of how. Ooh. It's going to have a cache of how the mesh got changed, which is going to make it really expensive to load because it's going to load this base mesh in and then sculpt it up for you. So I'm going to. I should. This one needs like to be in C and probably needs to be asynchronous. It's somewhere on the load so that it doesn't hold the main thread. So I need to relearn how to do C++ asynchronous function stuff. But the programming of it's not too bad yet. And it's a lot better in C than it is in Blueprint. Blueprints get gigantic for this kind of stuff. This in C it'll be much tighter looking. I'll have to start using semicolons again, which I don't like. So terrain, yeah, this thing. Yeah, so this one's gonna go. I need to pull this down. So that's the main one. So terrain 4. I should basically delete these 3 and just start renumbering forward here. But I'm gonna bring this into here. So that's the first terrain. I'll rename it 1 so that this iterates nicely. And we're going to build into... It doesn't really matter. I have a global component, so I could just move it around after. I will build symmetrically. I'll just build it symmetrically. I'm just gonna make a park, and I'm gonna use the little gates and just try to make a tiny exterior. Prefab. And then these all, when they save, they get turned into like regular block components. And I'm going to change eventually how you load in maps like this. I'm going to probably start to do like load it in sections or something like that, so it doesn't freeze so hard. Once I start to make these, like, once these prefabs are like an entire city, I'm probably going to have to load them in chunks. So each one of these are technically sculptable if I turned it on, but each is its own section, and they should have their own random grass on there, which it looks really obvious from the top like this. But when you view it like this and it like mips into the distance, it looks pretty good. Okay, so there's that. I was gonna make. So what's like a useful chunk out of this? I have to have like a informal meeting with like the or just a call with the people who are really like building in this. There's a couple people now, more and more, that build like building like gigantic things using this stuff, and I got to talk to them about like how it's going. I haven't had like a powwow with any users for a while. I think I'm gonna do a 3x3. The center one's the focus. Oh no, I should do a sidewalk. That's what I'll do. So we'll call this is the main tile. Where did 0, 0 go? Here's 0, 0. I'll call this the main tile here, and we'll do 3x2. This is the center, and then I'll put a sidewalk into it. That's the prefab I always build. I like building in Cine Tracer a lot better than doing this way. Like I want to eventually remove the gizmo, but we're just nowhere near it. The runtime gizmo that just slows everything down. I need to write tools that are faster than that. Like if I have to take in the game the gizmo, it's bad. The tools have been written wrong. Okay, so there's that one. Then let me go get my. Do I keep? Oh, I keep full screening it. That's what happens. So now I'm gonna put a sidewalk on this thing. Where is that? That is roads. And this is like slowly coming together. I remember when this part of the project started. Hold on. I deleted all the maps, which was painful, and I've been slowly stripping out all third-party stuff and rebuilding it, also painful. But it's getting there. And after about a year, I should be able to like generate whatever I want, maps-wise, and it's all original content and within our control, and properly get it optimized, etc. Blah blah. So the road, sidewalk, and corner. Oh no, sidewalk, road, so it's this one and this one. It's automatically going to do that. So these blocks are 400, 400, and I made the terrain 1600 by 1600, which has been working out so far. Before we build like an actual procedural system, which that's going to be some dark C++ time when I do that. But I would like something like No Man's Sky. That would be cool. And this is the beginning of that. Is to like, I'd like kind of like big picture for people to be like, I want a city, but they don't do anything to get it. They just like click generate, and it just builds the whole city for you based on like some different architectural styles, and it just generates procedural cities over and over and over again. And then you shoot in whichever one you like. But then they're still made of modular pieces. It's like a dungeon generator. Chalice dungeons. Except you shoot in them. Or you for now we just previs in them. We don't shoot in them yet. There's no... I haven't done the virtual production stuff yet. But modular, procedurally generated environments. Because I think at the end of the day, the computer can do a better job building the environment than like most, casual user that just wants to like shoot in like a city. They're like just a city. And I'm prepping a GDC presentation, and I think part of it is that like filmmakers don't want to build. They're not production designers. They're not 3D level artists. They're not 3D modelers. They just want to like do it like it works in the film industry. Like you don't want to. Very few people want to build a set from scratch. Most people who are filmmakers just want to cast an actor that already exists. They don't want to grow one and sculpt one from hand. They just want to see a big list of actors and be like, pick the one that they like. They don't want to build the location from scratch unless they're, you know, that level filmmaker. They just want to see the locations. They like this one the best. They make it work. So I want to build a very similar like ecosystem digitally, where it's like you just look at them. You know, we just want to procedurally generate all of these from parts. Whatever one is closest, we just use that one, and then do like a little bit of modding on it, and move on. Versus like something like Dreams or like any of these other apps where like you're building everything from scratch. I don't think that that's not what we really want. We want something that is... Which one am I duplicating? Did it go? It's this first one. Okay, that's fine. There it is. I want something that's more procedural. So like this park, I don't have enough tiles. Let's say this was supposed to be like, it's like, okay, let's make one of these. Right now I'm doing it like caveman style, and I'm just like laying them out, but we could just say that this is the formula, and you iterate, it'll start to iterate through all the ways that this could be changed. So I could generate in Houdini or at runtime at this point now different versions of this, and it'll just randomly make different terrains within this bounding box, and then it'll also vary different types of textures throughout this, and the roads can have variation. You just keep generating it over and over again until you get something. And this is like too small of a tile set, I think, to be useful. But I can basically do that over like an entire city or something smaller like a room. Like if it's I think the first one I'm going to start building is going to be like a kitchen. It's just like generate kitchen. And you just generate it, and it starts placing all the props for you procedurally and just starts dancing around. It'll randomly pick different furniture for you. And then the more I feed that type of system and have different assets, the better it would be. But then still be modular, and you can still delete out pieces if you don't want them. But kind of having like an automated virtual art director. Oops. And I haven't looked into like, I have no idea how I would implement any like sort of like machine learning into that. I don't collect any data on this app yet either. I need to start looking into that. But I want to know like, it's probably not for another year, but I want to know like what the most popular piece is. I want to know what set gets used the most. I want to know what focal lengths are being used the most, what cameras, what actors, etc. So I got to start collecting that data. And then I have to make a procedural human system too, which is going to be rough. And like probably beyond the scope of what I could do it on my own, but I have some ideas for that. And it looks like there's a lot of like, I don't know if it's open source. I keep seeing all these like Blender. At the same time that Relusion dropped their face generator plugin that uses like, it can take a 2D picture and like create the face for it. I also see an open source version of that in Blender. So I wonder if I can use that too. Sounds like C++ stuff though. What's up, Rito? Holidays were good. Breaks are rough on my brain. Like I like trick myself into like doing all this stuff. I made a road. I should not have to do this by hand every time. But at the same time, it's like comforting because it's like really easy. I don't have to think about it. But there's something I can write that just automates this. But yeah, oh, the sun's getting a little bit brighter. It's like hard to get back into it. Once I start sleeping in till like 9 or 10 and playing video games, I'm like, I don't want to go back to working. What the hell? Like, and I'm still in that, but that's where streaming comes in. There's like something about it. It's like it gets me to actually do it. There's like like certain types of programming I can't stream because it's mostly just me staring at my computer for an hour, not knowing what to do. But then stuff like this is like kind of like production work or like boring work. And I hate stuff like this. But streaming gets me through it, so this is like me getting back into it. If I'm like fully in the zone, production wise, I don't need to stream. I can just like bang out anything. I can research anything. I can like read C++ headers for hours if I have to. Like, it's not a problem. But right now, I can't even like convince myself to open up blueprints. Ugh. Why can't you copy the group? I could have, but if you've ever used blueprints like this, it doesn't like. And I used to have a fast computer. It's not fast by how fast things move now, but if you select multiple blueprint child actors like this and you try to move them, it's like super slow. It's like you can't do it. The editor won't let. It's like really, really slow. So you do them one by one. It's just faster, in my opinion. If you have like I don't know what drives it. It must be single thread CPU speed, I'd imagine. Like if I select 3 of these and try to move them, it's like almost crash level. So I just do them one by one. And copying, pasting and undoing with these blueprints in this, you don't want to do it. I don't know, maybe someone's computer can handle that. Mine does not like it. So one at a time, one by one, doesn't crash, doesn't freeze, and gets done eventually. So yeah, now I'm gonna make the little fence posts. Rather, I made them already. Where they are in here, I don't know. These are all named like so badly. Are they exterior? I don't know where I put these. Oh, there they are, the fences. Oh yeah. Yeah, so the fences, that's what this is. This is a demo for the users on how to use the exterior parts I've been building. And the park is generally useful. I know a lot of people previs stuff like this. I should put some trees in there maybe too. Fences. So I think it's this one is the post, and then this one has these ones. I made these in Houdini. Oh no, that's not the one I like. Not that one. This one. No, what? Oh, it's 4. I see. I got you. Yeah. It's in there somewhere. Oh, I parented it. There it is. Yeah. So these are all Houdini scripts over here. To make these. And then I turn them into like little modular pieces, and then I'm going to I haven't written any of the procedural Unreal Legend stuff, but I want to have like I want the user to be able to like just say like, okay, that's a cool park, give me another one, until they like it, and it just randomly generates them. Ugh. Does alt drag? I don't know if that works. See, I'm not in a level. If I was in the regular map editor, alt dragging works, and so does duplicating. But when you're in a blueprint with child actor components, I don't trust it. It might work, but I don't do it. So how come? It's definitely this is the post. So I'm gonna call this fence post 1. Let that iterate, and then let this call it fence. Gates. I do have to actually go make some gates in Houdini too. That'll be pretty easy. But yeah, I mean I'm gonna build this until GDC. Just keep building stuff. I don't know what. I have a big list of stuff that I like I want to be able to build, and then it's taking a step back, seeing how it's going, talk to users, see what people are building, and then hopefully build like a generator. Like everything needs to have like, I don't know how I'm gonna rate the class for it yet, but yeah, I need to be able to like randomize this stuff, but within parameters, within keeping it like looking nice, and actually making good looking stuff. The grass is kind of the beginning of that, like it's being spawned randomly, but everything needs to be like that somehow. That would be like one of the next steps, and then it's people. Then I'm gonna start working on the editor. I think my maybe my mocap stuff will be here by then, and then it starts applying kind of like a similar idea to humans and how we animate them and how we live puppet them, and then it'll start to be a lot more like virtual production type looking stuff. But that's gonna be like after GDC, before I get into that. So yeah, we're snapping on 100. So oh, ouch. So that's ooh. You see that grass is being generated every single time. I guess it's not that expensive, but that's not good. That's not good. We don't want that. I don't want that to happen. So I have to start caching the grass position. It's currently, every time I say update, it just redoes it. So I shouldn't have done that. I'll just cache it and store it. Oh yeah, because I have to, well, I'll do that right after this, because like you can't save this. I haven't serialized the terrains, so you can't save it. It just reverts back to its normal state here. So what are we gonna get done here? So there's where's the opening? So this will be the opening there. I'll just do the posts first. So this is like what, well, I mean, this is like normal level design, but within a blueprint editor instead of the map editor. This is too slow. This is too slow for the user base that I have, in my opinion. Like it can't go this slowly. No one's gonna do it. If you have to place every fence post like this, no one will do it. So we're starting off with like a very hard, strict world grid snap, which will help some people, but even that's probably too much work for most. But the next concept is to keep going higher level and higher level with the proceduralism. So it's like, think about what a filmmaker wants. They're going to say, I want to film in like this type of location, like a park. That's what this is. And it's like, okay, like, this is where we are in the world. I'm not going to start doing that stuff yet. That's kind of trivial too. It's just different types of trees and different types of grass. That's all like artwork. But it's like, okay, I want this park to be, I would probably think like, that's an exterior. Like, I would say like, someone would say like, I want it to be bigger. Or I want it to be hillier. Or I want it to be flatter. Something like that. Like really big landscaping things. But they don't want to paint the terrain themselves. Like they don't want to like sculpt the mountains. That's hard. So I need the app to do that for you, but they art direct it, right? So it's like I think the typical user of Unreal Engine, Houdini, etc., they're the artist. They're the one doing that stuff. And then there's an art director like telling them big picture, like what they're trying to get done. In my case, the art director is the user, and I'm the artist. Like in the app is the artist. Like the app will start to do the iterations for you, and you can art direct it at a high level and end up with a usable previs/virtual production. Oh shit, where'd you go? Virtual production environment. So slowly building that out. It's gonna take a while. Take a long while. Full year probably before I even have like a demo that like makes sense. Wait a minute, what did I just move? Oh, did I make a I duplicated the wrong one. That's gate, this one, right? Yeah. So it's kind of a long iteration cycle. That's like, it goes against how I like to work usually, but I need a lot of assets in there before I can start to even show how that's gonna work out. But I kind of know it'll work. I hope. I hope. And I'm gonna put, I didn't make any bigger tiles. I'm gonna make like some mountains in Houdini. I forget what it's called. You can like download terrain from like real locations and just like sample it to whatever you want and then use that. I might do something like that instead of like trying to generate a mountain. Just download a mountain and stick it in there. And let's just go in the deep background. And there's like a good one on the marketplace. All it is a bunch of like Gaia or like World Creator Houdini mountains, and they chopped them up, put materials on them, and then sold them. That is a business. There's a whole business to doing this. I could get into that, but I've done like the selling assets business, and I don't super like it. It's something that if I did do it, I'd have to try to automate it because I don't want to run that company. I just want to design it. But the day-to-day of a company like that sucks. Really boring. Oh, we're almost done with this fence. Yeah, this is a good way to get back into the production. Just copy and pasting fences everywhere. So I need to immediately test it before I go any further with this in the actual game. Make sure that things are spawning correctly and they're snapping correctly, and I'm not forgetting how this is supposed to work. I should probably start to write out my own like design spec for this, because like it's been a little bit freestyle. Now I kind of have rules that I have to follow, but if I take like a month break, I'll forget all of them and I'll have to like relearn them. I'll anticipate any month breaks, but I have a couple week-long breaks coming up. I have a family vacation thing and I have GDC, and both of those things will completely derail all of my like thinking. I need to write that, I hit F and I need to do that in the game too. So who are you? I forget how you select an Unreal Engine. Is this selecting stuff? I can't tell. Looks like yeah, that's this one. Okay. I'll put the fence posts in later. So that's a park. There's a lot, there's a lot more to do, but generally this is a park, and then I'll just keep dressing it once I test that it works. So currently the terrains won't even save. Everything else will be fine. They're existing classes already. But I gotta test it before I go any further. And I have to serialize that. I think I know that, but I'm gonna write it down anyway. Oh, it's 8:30. Good God, it's early. Yeah, and then I have to I'm gonna make it so that the tools, like all the different guns, tools that you have are drag and drop, so you can swap them out. So that's a whole project. I don't know if I'm gonna stream that. Probably have to get through it. What the fuck am I reading? Oh yeah, we need to serialize the terrains. That'll test if I actually know what I'm doing with the procedural mesh component. And I'm sure for performance it's probably like in a very bad state, but it works. That's what matters. I wonder if it crashes some computers though, with the thread stopping. I don't know how that works. I don't get reports of too many hard crashes. People think it crashes. It's just Mac OS being annoying, and I have to notarize the app, and notarizing sucks. Really sucks. I wish I could just pay someone to do that. Oh yeah, I need to put this into the database. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, this database. It's like the same process of like getting the game on Steam. It's like no one documents it, because like how many game developers that have things on Steam? Like not that many. And so no one really says how to do it. And it's the same thing with getting your Unreal Engine app notarized. There's literally one person that wrote like a blog post about it. And there's like very few people know. And all the Unreal Engine developers are PC developers, so they don't know how to do Mac stuff. So it's all out there alone trying to figure that shit out. It's annoying. But I'll get it eventually. I'm like halfway done through notarizing it. I just have to keep working on it. We're going to put this collection... Where'd you go? There you go. Yeah, park. Eventually these don't even exist. They're all procedural, but we're not there yet. So these are all my temporary, kind of like manually created procedural blocks. Let's call this park 1. What do I call these? I call them collections with an S, all lowercase. I don't have a thumbnail. Definitely don't have thumbnails. And collections with an S. Okay, so we should be able to load this in. I haven't run the game yet. Oh no, I did run it. We were sculpting. Okay, so prefab, here it is, and boom, there's the park. Gets it going for you. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so these are. I'm not blocking the sculpt, so it's trying to sculpt it, but it won't let it because it's currently a static mesh. It hasn't been converted to a procedural static mesh yet, so it'll try to sculpt it, and it's also clearing the grass. So I gotta work on that. But if I just select it, I can respawn the grass into it like this. And so far, oh no, then you get to that. Hold on. There it goes. Don't click it. I just need to not click it. And so far, this grass is like, I think it's pretty performant. Like, there's no. I'm just looking at my OBS. I could write stat unit or whatever, but I don't do that. Not yet. As long as I can shake my mouse on OBS and it doesn't lag, that's my performance check. That's how much time I have to care at that point. But I'm spotting a lot of grass into this. And I should probably start using the unit stat thing. Like, I don't know how many draw calls each tile is, blah, 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 but at some point I'll care about that. I have to regenerate this grass in Houdini anyway, so I have to make a grass spawner, or a grass generator. But I think it's performing so far okay. Oh yeah, so this is the prefab. It's fine. So if I save now, I mean, I'll test it. It's not going to save the terrains. They're not even going to be there when I come back. Let alone the yeah. So they're just not there. But everything else is there, which is fine. Now I have to make a new save file. But oh. Okay, so I'm going to go put the fence posts in, and then I'm going to start the. I'm at least going to write the first part of saving it, and then I'll look at like saving sculpting and caching grass positions, and then I have my first like runtime Unreal Engine landscape system, sort of. Huh. These all have complex collisions. Gotta do that too. Yeah, so we're gonna put the fence posts. More copying, pasting fun. Yeah, so eventually I don't just do this by hand. I don't know what the format is, if it's going to be like a JSON file or like, it has to have like some, I mean, it has a lot of art to it. I need like an abstract version of this to tell it the rules to then generate this. And so that's going to take a little bit of like learning because I have no idea how to approach that. I know what I want, but I don't know how to do it. Basically like stock Sean Murray, developer of No Man's Sky. I just try to figure out like what he's thinking about, who he talks to, what he reads. I watched a couple of his presentations and he was like shitting on Perlin noise and stuff. I was like, that's the guy. That's who we want to follow. Person that doesn't like Perlin noise because it's too basic. I would like something similar to the No Man's Sky system. I'd like to voxel sculpt this stuff too, but I don't want to use that plugin that's out there. I heard the developer is still pretty active, but basically if that person stops making that voxel plugin, I'm fucked. Like, so I can't do that. So I'm gonna go with this procedural mesh component one because I know how to write it myself. And if I can figure out how to write voxel myself so that it like can like you're basically adding like circles and subtracting circles from the mesh. I don't know the base. I don't know like even like what the word is to do that though, like concept wise. I could probably write it. I don't need all the tools that No Man's Sky has. I just need like the basic like add a sphere, voxelize it, subtract a sphere, voxelize it. So I figured out base sculpting. I think I know how to write smoothing. So I just at some point I'll upgrade this whole thing to like a voxel system, but it needs to be like stock Unreal Engine. I don't want to have to write too much for it. So we'll see. In UE4 looks like they're adding a lot of like mesh editing stuff, so maybe they'll write it for me. Or it'll be like there'll be some like official released version that has some sort of like voxel runtime editor in it. I think there's a LiDAR plugin too, which I want to eventually buy a LiDAR scanner, start doing some runtime LiDAR stuff, which no one will be able to do with me because no one could afford LiDAR scanners. But I want to do it anyway. Oh shit, what? How come I spawned in the middle of it? Oh, wait, what? Oh, it's snapping like a landscape. Wait, what was the snap base? And why did the collisions turn off? Why am I stuck in this? Am I floating? What's happening right now? Where am I? What the fuck? Oh, what? What the fuck is this? It's kind of cool, but what? It's like a graveyard. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. I don't have a snapping increment on this yet. So it's not world grid snapping, so I can't... Well, they're there. Yeah, okay. So I need to... Oh, because I made a fresh child. Yeah, okay, right. Okay, so I have to... Oh, sweet God. Did I have... Oh, Jesus. No, here's... This has no interfaces on it. Okay. I've been adding these one by one. Well, now it world grid snaps. If I implement it. So... I need to rethink this a little bit. But I'll just return, I'll just give it, I'm not going to calculate, I'll just return the bare minimum world grid dimensions, and it'll snap so that it gets placed on the world grid so that you can then add to it, etc. I don't know how I did this game before I had a world grid. I remember the thought process of not having it, but now it's like, it's, you know, I can't. Oh, so this one is the picture. I can't program the procedural world generator without a world grid. I'm not that level. So there it goes. So now it's on world grid. Let me go get the fences and make sure they all snap together again. I need to make the thumbnails for this. That's boring stuff that I can do. I think the pipes are new. I don't think these are released yet. So I need to make a couple. I need to make like a couple like sewers or something like that. I don't know. Something that has pipes on it as a demo level, demo prefab. Here's the fence. Gonna go make those thumbnails. So if I did this right, yeah. So everything's on the grid still. So I can come in and like continue to make fences in here. Oh, those are the full wall ones, yeah. But that's the, oh, it's trying to sculpt the grass. Oops, I'll just put that back. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's the beginning of like the exterior terrain system right there. It can go in all sorts of directions, but I kind of know how I want to make terrains like when I'm doing previs. That's kind of like the guiding force. You try to stay real high level, like so high level that you don't have to ever use a mouse. Like a traditional level editor mouse, it's all like video game style. But we're not there yet. And I want to get away as much as I can from doing any of this by hand. It all becomes procedural. Okay, so there's these things. So that prefab is fine to start. I could scatter trees. If I write like currently you can only scatter one type of foliage across this, but it's, you know, it's nothing to just add another one. It's kind of a performance thing. It's like trees are kind of expensive. This grass is pretty cheap to render, but trees are not. So if I like, it's currently bound to scroll wheel, which is pretty loose. So like if you just start scrolling and it's spawning trees that have a lot of transparency and in general are kind of heavy, that's probably too much for certain computers. So I haven't been spawning expensive stuff yet, but I can mess with that. I guess I could just place a couple trees in here. I didn't make the trees though. I try not to. With these prefabs, this is stuff that I've 100% made. Like all of this is mine, so I don't really want to put trees in it for that reason. But it could just use like 4 trees, and it's like you could start to previs into this set pretty easily. I do have the mountain terrains. I'll put hills around this. Yeah. We won't do that. So let me make a new scene component just to organize it. These scene components get stripped out when you spawn them. Hills. So I made like tile-y ones so that you can do exactly what I'm about to do. Now, where is it? So, and then I'm gonna serial. I'll write the saving functions for the terrains. Yeah, these ones, yeah. Basically made roofs. It's the same way you make a roof. But I did them in a Houdini and then I ran simplex over them, which is nice. What am I going to need? I need convex corners and I need the hill and then I need the flats. So we already have most of them. So I should have named them that. So we have the hills. I'm going to need like a straight hill and then I need the, I think that's the convex one, yeah, like that. And so I'm just like basically surround this. And I need to do some optimization checks on lower end computers. It's hard to, I guess I could buy like a used computer. But like Apple's like, the new laptops are getting pretty strong again. I still own like their best laptop from a while ago for this kind of stuff. It's like the one that had the it's like the last MacBook Pro that had an NVIDIA card. I still have it somewhere. But I need to check like what's a reasonable amount of grass to spawn on something like that at like 40 frames per second or something like that. But I haven't done that sort of stuff yet. But this is all procedural now. Like I can like once I know those numbers, I can force it. I was like, just don't let like, if you know, like I'll just constantly check. What's the total number of foliage, and if it's you know if it's at a certain amount, just don't ever add any more. Or if I implement like distance player calling, then I'll decrease the radius that it calls everything at. What game was I playing? It was Call of Duty. Call of Duty is like, I mean, it's like a top level game, but I'm pretty sure they have like a preset for every single graphics adapt. They're called like adapters at that point. Like, is that this one? Okay, I need the corner piece. Like when I was playing Call of Duty, like it knew it was a 2080 Ti and it set the settings correctly because they've obviously performance tested the 2080 Ti. So like they have like a profile per GPU, like every single GPU that's reasonable. I'm sure they have tested it. I'm not going to go through anything like that, but like it's kind of like goals to have something like that going. Now this doesn't look right. Is that something's way off? Huh? Who's off? Oh my! Are these all off grid? Oh no, it's just this one. How did that happen? How could this possibly be off grid? How did that happen? Negative 1600. That's wrong. What the fuck is this? That's it. Oh, okay, that's fine. I thought. Wait, what? How did these get so far off? Oh, I see. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I made these so that it's like easy to make like this bank here. This is at least how I make like dioramas. Is like, say in the game industry, like they're not levels, but like even like I used to do this all with photogrammetry. I would go and scan a ton of shit, but at the end of the day, I'd always make something like this. It was like, here's a flat area where I'm gonna actually do things, and then like I just need to kind of like block the horizon. Is essentially it. So this is like the most minimal way that I can get that done. And then I don't know how many people would actually sculpt this. Like my user group, I don't know if they've never used ZBrush in their life. They don't know what that is. I'd have to explain the concept of like you can sculpt it, and then how many people would want to, I'm not sure. So it might be a dead feature. Like it as cool as it is, like you can sculpt it, blah blah blah. People may not do it. So I think the other approach to this is that like we give these like kind of general shapes. Like this is like I think like the most generic tile set I can build for this, and then in Houdini I just generate like 4, right? I just run a randomization over this and make them like bigger and smaller, and then the user just like, you just say randomize and it just picks whatever tile it just randomly picks a tile, then it puts the grass over it, and you never actually sculpt it. I could see that being like just as good. Definitely faster versus like some of the sculpting system. It would have to be good first. You'd have to actually be able to sculpt with it. I should just delete that. But then the user base, you have to, they have to actually do it. So I don't know if that's gonna ever happen. Where are you snapping? How come I'm standing on you when you're snapping? I need to push the whole thing forward. Okay, well whatever. So yeah, so it blocks the horizon. So like this is like kind of like the bare minimum, modular like exterior. If you look just this way, it's like you're like fully enclosed more or less. As soon as you're off, Oh, what did I spawn? 2 of these? Oh, this is just over it. I'm not gonna delete those. Whatever. I just won't save this. Well, that's it. It's just like a 1600 plane with a bunch of Houdini stuff on it, and has corners, and there's lumpy transitions, but like it basically gets it done. Okay, I need to fix the terrains now. I added sculpting and it broke everything. And I wouldn't want to ship a game this way, but if you're just prevising it where this is like, you know, a green blob out of focus, essentially, it's fine. And then I should probably make a tree spawner over this somehow, like, because, I don't know, I see a decent amount of people putting trees on their levels, but, you know, you have to like kind of want to do that. Either that, I have to start. I need to make more content, which is like, it's kind of insane. But I have to just like show the process. At least that's how I learned. Now, like you just like a concept. It's like you can put trees in your level like this, and then people do it. If you stop making that content, people don't do it. So now there's trees, or I'll add the trees in the prefab, or there's definitely going to be some sort of like higher level like landscape manager class that's like listening. Like it's going to need to listen for like, don't let there be a million grass tufts, and don't let there be like, you know, blah blah blah. Like there just has to be something that'll eventually stop it from doing like kind of like min and max bounds, and then something that would randomize everything. Like it knows all the classes that have grass on it, and it's like, okay, it's winter grass now, and it goes and does like this massive swap through. So this is pretty good. Yeah, so there's a park, and you know, I could keep dressing it, but that's like the bare minimum. So next I need to save these terrains. They don't save at all. They just disappear. So let me look at this base class real quick. I need to delete those, renumber those. And I don't know if I'm going to ship sculpting on this update, because it's just going to delay it. I think I'm not going to ship it. I'm not going to ship sculpting. I'll ship all these other things, though. And then I'll just keep working on sculpting on the background. What function even am I messing with? So this is sculpt. Oh, so this is like our sculpt function. This is the only one I have for now. There'll be more. This is sculpt procedural mesh component. Takes a world, location, position. We draw the debug sphere, and we're getting the procedural mesh. We're getting the procedural mesh section. I eventually call a create mesh section. I think you can do an update mesh section, which might be cheaper. And this create collision thing is like super expensive. Like that's the thing that lags it all down. So even converting this to C may not even help that much. Like this whole for loop will go faster in C, because each one of these little nodes, I think, costs, you lose a significant amount of time. But I think the big killer is this guy with the create collision. So if I was to do like, even in the editor, I think it's for the same exact reason. I have a feeling that this is like almost like an exposed blueprint landscape editor call, like similar idea. If in the editor you hold down sculpt and you just drag it through, it's not, you know, it doesn't call it that often per second, because this is slow. I don't know if it's generating the collision again. I don't know. But if anyway, I'm not going to implement click and drag in this, because it's calling this on like 10 times a second. It's not gonna happen. It's would probably break. So this thing is super expensive. But we need to save it. I'm gonna kill all these things. I hate having like all these open. It's like in Photoshop, defaults to opening things in tabs, and I hate seeing tabs. Like I always have to turn that off. The event graph, I have a construction graph. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to deal with that. So procedural mesh stuff, random stuff, foliage stuff. I need to update that. Get vertice radius location. I don't use that currently. Get random point on procedural mesh. Yeah, I use that one. And this is the sculpt mesh. Okay, so we're back in the event graph. The begin play is making a UI. It sets the slider for how much foliage we max out each mesh by. And then we initialize the procedural mesh. It's a bad name. That's not actually what it's doing. We call that per instance. Okay, and that's basic interface stuff. And this is the sculpting interface. I haven't written the tool for it, but this is an interface for sculpting. Should make it a color, but that's it. Because I think eventually anything should be sculptable. If I rate this as like a, I don't know how to do that component. I don't know exactly how that's going to get distributed through everything, but it would be cool to sculpt everything. Starting with the terrains makes the most sense, but it might make sense for everything too. Okay, so I need to write, these are all what? This is procedural mesh init, that's sculpting, outline, so interface, UI interface, and get random point, that's part of sculpting too. Okay, so I need to write save to struct and load from struct, and then I have to commit to shipping sculpting or not shipping it. I guess what's stopping it is designing the tool. I have to update. Oh, that's a big update. I have to make tools. Let me look at those for a second. If I'm gonna ship sculpting, means I can ship, because like currently you can add dirt to everything by just clicking on it. I just don't have the tool written for it. So all this stuff gets like dirt. You can add dirt to it. I just don't have the tool, because the tools are currently hard bound to QERT. I only have 4, and I have like 6 or 7 tools. I just ran out of slots. So what's going to happen is when you hit tab now, this goes to the side, and you're going to have a toolbar as well. So you can like equip these down here for the hotbar, and you'll do the same thing for tools, because we're going to start to have more tools, and then eventually in editor it looks like Photoshop, and you have a toolbar. I just have to write tools. I was on the Unreal Engine Facebook group the other day, like, asking about how to implement it. And if you're doing actual guns, like gun class, they should be classes, because then you get the inheritance. But mine don't need that. I think they're just gonna be a data table structure, structure then data table of the different tools. And so when you're dragging in tools, they're just going to be, what are they then? That's what I couldn't figure out. I haven't thought about it too much either, but like it could be, oh, I need to look at data table handles. Like, is it like data table handles? How do I directly reference back to it? That's what's good about classes, is like, it's just an array of class references at that point. But it's so annoying to, like, if you have like 50, I hope we're not going to have 50 tools, right? We'll have like 12 maybe. And then you have 12 different classes, and you have to open up each class, versus a data table that's just all there in one place. I would like it as a data table. I don't know how to reference it. I don't know what the array is for the hotbar, but anyway, I need to make these switchable. I have a bunch of tools written I have to put in there. Like the sculpting tool. We have a sculpting tool. You can't equip it though. I didn't write that. Oh, it didn't save the, wait. Oh, this is the first one that didn't have the columns. Okay. But yeah, I need to add that in here. All because am I gonna save the sculpt or not? As soon as I save sculpting, this static mesh doesn't exist. It's only the procedural mesh component, and all we have is a reference to the mesh that it's going to essentially copy when we do it. Time is it? Phone 9. Fuck yeah, I could probably write that. Could probably do it. Probably should do it. I go into a hole until as soon as I start writing that tool, as soon as I start writing changeable tools, into the game breaks until I fix it, until I completely do it, because I'm gonna have to rip out everything about it. This had to happen at some point. That's a lot of programming now to do it. I'm not gonna rate it. I'm not gonna save the sculpting for this first pass of it, and I'll see if I can finish the tool in like a reasonable amount of time. So what is this class? This class is basically nothing. Like, in that case, because it's gonna just generate it for me. I'm not gonna cache the grass position. I'm just gonna let it randomly generate it again. That's fine. What does this class even have in it then at that point? So we have, those are components fully, full Oh, foliage count. I'm going to say foliage count bounds are what? Okay, yeah, I do that. Has foliage. I can delete that. Procedural this is like the positions. This is like the almost cache positions of the different grass things that we save. And the only thing to consider is if I want to spot multiple types of foliage on this should be an array. It'd be like foliage type 1, foliage type 2, and then we need a foliage count. I'll stick with simple, but these terrains, eventually we're going to spawn at least three different types of foliage on it. But for now, we're only going to serialize just this. Just like, what's an integer? This whole class is an integer for now. And then it will be a whole lot more once I save everything, like the sculpt. I don't really know how to save the... Oh, yeah. I don't know how to save the sculpt at the moment, but I'll figure that out later. So it's just this. So I need a struct for this. I still save... Oh, I docked them all. I see. Okay. I still save in like kind of a bad way. It works though. So... I haven't made one of these for a minute. Structure. It's a structure, right? So it's a CT save terrain. And this save is going to be one of the harder saves of the game, is saving all these terrains out. So I'm going to start with class ref. Actor. Class reference. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right at all. Oh, it's... Wait, what the fuck? Actor. There we go. Class reference. Then we want the actor transform. I haven't written this. I haven't written a save for a while. I forget how this works yet. Actor, then a transform, and for now we'll just start with foliage count, and that should be enough to reinitialize it. The grass won't be in the same place, but it'll be like the same amount, and the sculpt won't get saved yet. The sculpt should just be a. It's a lot. You have to save the whole. You have to save the whole mesh. I wonder if you can cache it. I don't really want to start saving, like... I don't really want to start... I know you can turn this into like a legit FBX, whatever, like mesh format from that, but I don't want to start saving those with a scene file. That's going to be like... it's going to make the save like gigantic, and then it's not... It relies on asset linking, and like, so if someone deletes them, it's not going to work, and... I guess I'll just save it, and it's going to make loading, like, if you have like 50 terrains, loading them up, if you sculpted all of them, it's going to make that really slow. But maybe I'll start to, like, with terrains, I might, when I load them back in, as I load them tile by tile and chunk them out, and don't try to load the whole thing on one call. Foliage count. Yeah, so that should be about it. So we're going to, there's the terrain base. This is done. This is done. That's an instance. I need to delete the first 3. Okay, cool. So we have save to struct. That's the first one. That doesn't have a return type. So we're going to... Oh no, it doesn't. The return type is the struct. Never mind. Okay, so we're gonna say CT save terrain. I think I can almost write saves as a component, but I don't. This has been working fine for me, so I don't really feel like spending a week to change something that doesn't show up. Like, it doesn't show up anywhere. Just like a back end thing makes my life easier, but it doesn't help anybody. So we're going to do, it's been a minute, get self, get actor class, ooh, get component class, what, it's just, is it just get class? Yeah, there it is, okay, get class, get actor transform, and the foliage count, like that. So that's it. It's pretty... It's not bad. And then eventually I'll have to write... It's going to return a ton of shit into here. It's going to return all the arrays that the procedural mesh component section has on it, basically. I'll start with this. If I write this sculpting tool, then I have to come back and write this anyway, so it's pretty light. So this one, we'll take that one back in. Yep. And I forget how I wrote this, but we're just gonna set this one here. We'll break this open, take it. Then we have to call the right function, which has got to be up. If I update, it should just be update foliage. Like, that's how I typically set these up. That should do it. And then I have to just register it with the save file. And then that's like the basic saving of it. So the manager needs it. Oh, that's a mess. And the save file needs to get updated. What do save files look like? I forget. Oh, is it this? No, that's the user profile, which doesn't do anything. Oh, it's this. Yeah, that one. That's an old name, but I can't change that name. So we just need an array of those for now. So CT terrain list. These are save reference things. CT save terrain array. CT terrain list. So it exists in the save file. So that means that we can. Most of these get called. I just haven't done it yet. I did a pass like a month ago at this point where I went and deleted like a ton of stuff, but a lot of the things are kind of still here. I just don't want to go through them manually and take them out, but they gotta go. And then I gotta break these into functions and do some other stuff. But for now it works. I just don't feel like doing it. So I'm just gonna drop it right here. It's gonna unorganized, but it'll work. Get all actors of this one. Do we have a pin? This is pretty gross looking, but oh well. CT terrain base actor. I'm just gonna copy this, whatever this is. So we're just getting all of them. Get our reference back to our save file. Yeah, this should be in a function instead of events. Add save to struct. Eventually this will be a component, so it'll all be faster to write these, but at the same time I want to kind of cap the number of classes we have, so it kind of won't matter. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's the trust list, that's why. So we want the terrain list, if I can spell it. Get the terrain list. I don't like that, I want to just make a new one. And so they're saved. Now we gotta load them back. I could probably write the sculpt. I kind of want to test it. So this is just a random ass load here. But we don't want the truss. We want the. Get the terrain. Just drop a rewrite down here. The reroute hotkey. There probably is one for that. We're gonna for each that. Just connect it in so it actually fires. And we're breaking, spawning, and casting the load. Yeah, okay, so that's easy. So we're just gonna break this. From it, we'll spawn it. Like, ooh. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Always spawn. There's your transform. Oh, you even did the order right. Cool. And like this whole thing could be done generically. Like I shouldn't have to write this for every single one, but I just have to for now. It's not that one. It will be this one. So we'll reroute. I'm gonna bring it back over here. And we are gonna cast to terrain base. And then reload it. So this sets up the structure for if I go and actually write the whole save function for the sculpting. Everything's connected up, so that should save now. Only thing it's gonna save is foliage count and class and transform. Let's fucking delete all this stuff out of here. This is gonna take too long. I need to make a fast delete. I mean, when you load prefabs, I'm not gonna have you load them by hand anymore. They're gonna be like you load them like they're levels, basically. It's gonna make more sense, because then you can just like delete them all. This is stupid, but I'm just gonna finish it. This is like one of the main complaints of the system that I have and that everyone complains about. Is just deleting these fuckers out of here sucks. But I'll make it easier, better eventually. Let me save this. Would have been easier probably just to make a new one. Yeah, so now I have to test saving it. Okay, so don't sculpt it. There they are. So these all came in with their default foliage. So I'm going to turn this one off. I'm just going to checker them so I can tell if the foliage got saved correctly. So those ones don't have grass on them. We hope that it looks like this when we come back in. They can have random positions, but they should be checkered like that. Okay, good. So no grass and checkered. So the foliage is working. The meshes are there. The next thing would be to turn sculpting on for all of them. Sculpt them and it saves the sculpt too. I could probably do that. But I have to commit to dropping the mesh. Okay, so we're done with saving. That's pretty easy. Well, I have to rewrite it after, but I have to add more to this list. So the main thing is like the current class is like these are just static meshes, and then I convert them to procedural mesh component if they become sculptable. So there's like kind of like a two states. I don't know which is more expensive. I don't know if they're... Well, the procedural mesh component is generated at runtime. So as soon as you sculpt it, these become more expensive. So meaning there's like a not expensive state that it's defaulted to. Like it doesn't even need this procedural mesh component until it becomes sculptable. Like I could delete this out of the base class and it adds it once you try to sculpt it. Stuff like that. That's more like of a design question for me. And then also, do I build in the future of being able to have multiple foliage? I don't know. I'm gonna put this in a category instead. Load save. But technically it works now. You're carrying along a lot of like extra crap, and if you click it, well, I'll turn that off actually. Let me go get my player control. I'm gonna turn off. Well, let me see here. Do I even write? I was gonna write the sculpt tool, but without being able to even equip it. What's the point? And how would I even turn it on? I also want to make a fire gun. Package new blocks for release. That hasn't happened. I'll do that. That's boring shit. I gotta do that. Prefabs for release. I need to make I serialize the terrains. Oh, the number keybinds are... Some people can't use the number keys. I don't know how the fuck that's possible, but I've had enough people say that it doesn't work that I have to look at it. Okay, so this graph, that's the hotbar. Yeah, let me look at that. There's a pretty serious bug in here somewhere for certain computers, which is the worst type of bug. It's not for everybody, so I have to like cross section like who has the error. Figure out why that's happening. Interface, primary, hotbar. Where are input? There they are. Input graph. Okay, so this is garbage first of all, so I can see it not working. The first question is, does this consume? No consume. Game type, editor pawn. This eventually becomes simpler, but that's the brute force check for it for now. Doesn't consume, doesn't consume, doesn't consume. So these are all that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't consume inputs, so... But even if they did, who could possibly... There's no one... The game instance doesn't overwrite these. There's no class that should be able to... No, it's the interface, isn't it? Okay, so hold on. Wait, I need to look at my interface for... Where did I put this? Interface hover select. This is like the main editor point of the game. Ah, it might be these. Wait a minute. We need to delete the... I need to delete the... These are consuming. No, they're not. Even this doesn't consume it. Override parent binding. It could be that. Should any bindings to this event in parent classes be removed? There is no parent class. This is all player controller. So, like... This is like a hard bind. This is probably the mistake right here. Now, do any of the classes still use this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interface? As soon as they do. This is the conflict. This is breaking things right here for certain people, which I don't understand. It works for my computer, works for my Macs, works for most people. Some people are like, I can't. They send me videos. They hit the number keys, nothing happens. It's crazy. It's probably this hard bind right here. I can't delete these though. What's up, Andres? How's it going, man? Happy New Year yourself. Ugh, it was a good holiday. I'm just like, probably like everyone else, trying to get back into working, convincing myself it's a good idea. Like I should probably play like 24 hours of Witcher, watch the whole Witcher Netflix series. It's cool. Started sleeping in, but now I have to gotta trick myself into working again. It's this. I don't know if I can strip this interface out. I want to. I want to be able to take that out, but I think there's some things that are still possibly using it. I don't know. These are clearly not in play. I do something like this when I'm like, I might need it again, but it's clearly not being used. I can't, and this is why I can't delete this yet. I'd have to go through every class and make sure that these are not. I can't delete this yet. So I wonder if, I think this is causing an issue because they're both using, this is a direct bind to 1, 2, 3, 4, and we also have an input action. I'm gonna turn off this override parenting thing. I don't really, the solution is to strip this out, but I'm not gonna do that right now. What do I have? 5. I'm just gonna turn that off. I don't know if that'll fix it for anybody. Shouldn't break it, but it should fix it. Shouldn't, I don't know if it'll fix it. Shogun, I don't personally. Wait, Shogun? Oh, Shotgun, like the pipeline software. I don't really need it yet, but yeah, I guess for asset tracking long term that might be a good thing. So my hotkeys work. I can still do it, but I don't know. As long as it didn't break my build, it's a thought. Maybe that fixes that bug. Long term, I take that out. Even longer term, I finally sit down and write the custom hotkeys menu for this game. I think all it's really doing is rewriting the ini file for the binding. It's just I have to write the UI for it, and it's like kind of annoying. And the hotkeys are gonna like, I void the hotkeys every time I do like a major update, so it's like I still don't want to write it because I'm gonna have to keep rewriting it. And then everyone's hotkeys get rewritten every single update, so it's like it's not ready. Okay, so I can't click with that. Okay, so this still can't go out. I wanted to do this thing where like when you sculpt, you see like a preview circle of like where it's gonna sculpt, and you have like an idea on how big an area it's gonna affect. Obviously, like this would make a lot of sense. But then I write it, and I don't have a tool to equip it. So like, what comes first? You know, it's kind of like rewriting the system so that you can equip things. So it doesn't make sense to write it. So I'm not gonna write it. So I need to go to my, is it primary action? So this is where I left. This is primary action. We query game type, creative. We query what tool we're currently in. So this, it breaks everything. As soon as I start implementing this, like this dies and then everything dies. So I have to, until I fix it. So like, this is the current implementation of tools. So we have so I have a dirt gun. You just can't use it. And I have a sculpt gun. Can't use it. So what has to happen is, instead of it being like, it's all just living in one enumerator right now, like what tool we have, it then becomes what tool slot is active, what's the class, or like I need to identify what that slot is. And then from that, you tell it what tool to fire, essentially. Like I'm implementing all the tools within the player controller for here. So I have to write the UI, I have to write the control, I have to write the data structure, and then I write the UI on top of it. And then I can have all my tools, which is what I want. I want to implement all new features as tools. Like if I want like the next one I'm going to write is like a fire gun. So I'm going to upgrade my Houdini to simulation, go bake out a couple fire sims into Unreal as flipbooks or whatever. And then you're going to shoot fire at things. It'll just like it'll just stick fire instances on the wall or whatever you stuck it to. And that'll just be a tool. You just equip fire gun, you just shoot fire on everything. And then the dirt gun will make more sense. It already works. Sculpting for the terrains will need work. But it's a lot of back end stuff, and it's also very breaks it super hard. As soon as I disconnect this, it's like the whole thing, nothing works. So I have to be ready to do that. That's not gonna happen this morning. That's not like first day back at work type of thing. Break the game that hard. I'd rather go 3D model something easier than that. What's up, Jezza? Thanks. Happy New Year to everybody. So we have a sculpt gun, we have a dirt gun, but they don't. I don't have tool slots yet, so we can't do it. I could like replace the physics gun. I like that thing though. It needs work too. Obviously, I need to. All those things need work, but I'm glad it works at all. It's pretty buggy when you try to save it after. I'm not sure what's happening with that. Oh, it's the spawn. Where did I write that? That's not what I'm working on today. What am I doing here? So anyway, there's all of these. Everything could be fixed. Ah, yes. Prefabs. Yeah. I'm supposed to ship this update. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so let me look at this prefab that we made. It's saved, so it's technically ready. You can spawn grass onto it. So it's like Landscapes 1.0. And now when I click it, it doesn't do that, but you can still do this. Which I never thought we were gonna have this much control in game actually over the foliage. I was like, I'm gonna make everything, but that's definitely not the way to go at this point. So you can spawn grass, and as I add more and more grass to it, it'll look a lot better. Because this is like very like cartoony grass, but we'll get better grass in there. So this is fine. We just won't sculpt for now until I write the tools update. So the fences are new, the terrains themselves are new. You can put grass on it, that's new. What was I checking? I have to make something with the pipes. That's what I gotta do. I am overexposed. I don't control the webcam's exposure directly. I don't know why it thinks it's so dark. Yeah, I noticed that. It's because I don't know why. I don't know. My DP head is turned off. I'm like, well, that's the way the webcam wants me to look. I'm not gonna light myself. But yeah, no. I think this is good. I think this is good to go. So I'm gonna go screenshots. I'm just gonna, yeah, just tidy this thing up for the release. I'm gonna go screenshot these fence boys and the terrains and this prefab. And then, yeah, and I kind of need to start redoing these categories a little bit, but we can get the park prefab now. I could go add grass to all of the exterior ones. I'm not going to do that. It's really boring. Residential stuff, commercial. So we have pipes are new. I don't think that's actually out. That's part of this update. So I'll go make a pipe set. So 3 screenshots plus the prefab. Oh, and we have rocks. I made these rocks in Houdini. One of them sucks. One of them's like okay. Get rid of terrain sculpt. Okay, so we're going to screenshot the fence, the terrains, the rocks, and the prefab. Then this is basically ready to go. And then I'll probably package that up and then maybe start to look at the tools. So this is one of the Houdini rocks. A little overboard with the texture on it, like the moss on the top. I just wanted to see if I could put moss on just the top. This is the potato rock, looks terrible, but the Houdini rocks for me basically replace having to go to ZBrush and manually sculpt them. You still have to make the base mesh somehow, you know. It's still very a manual process. You can't, or at least I'm not able to like really generate like great rock formations. So you basically like voxel mesh them all together. And then you just run this rock script over them and it rockifies them. Then I substance painter them and makes rocks. And I need like rock walls and just a couple different things. They'll all snap together. They'll look good. You can spawn. Once I write the spawn thing as like a component, you can spawn things on rocks, etc. Spawn rocks on these, etc. I gotta make them like modular so that you can spawn. I could technically make it so that you could spawn anything you want. You could spawn light stands onto this instead of grass. Be kind of like ridiculous, but we could open that up. I don't know if I'm going to though. Oh, because my shirt's black? Oh, it could be. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I used to live stream Yeah, I remember that. I used to live stream like cinematography stuff, and I was like, I have to wear a white shirt. Yeah, you're right. You, it's like you're a DP or something. Yeah. Oh yeah, screenshots. Let's go take screenshots. Yeah, so this is gonna get changed for the tool. And who owns the slots? This is getting big. Or at least for me, it feels big. Like, so here's the grid. Where's the inventory? Department menu. I don't even know where I saved this stuff. Oh, those are functions. Oh my god, look at this. This is getting big. Physics gun. Director finder, paint gun, hotbar. Here's the hotbar. Hotbar items is an array of CT department item structures. Current hotbar index is building. I get that. Okay, cool. So it'll be the same thing. I could either make it generic so that like you can put tools in 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can put. I could just make a generic hotbar slot. And I need to know then if it's if you've equipped a item or a tool, and I need a way of separating those two. This starts to mess with Cine Tracer Academy, which is like not on anyone's radar, but like I'm still designing that in the background because they're the same system as they should be. So I either rewrite this so that it's a generic hotbar, you can put anything in it, or I make another one. It's a toolbar just for tools, or a toolbar just for items. I think the solution is to. The question is basically: are we Fortnite or are we Minecraft? There's two different approaches to the hotbars. I mean, the new Fortnite creative has like a whole new paradigm for selecting items now. Actually, it's very different. It has like the tilde key. I don't know. I'm gonna take screenshots instead for a little while. Screenshot studio. Now, is anything open right now? I went and got Substance Launcher. It's kind of cool. I didn't know that existed until I watched the Indie Pixel tutorial on it. Yeah, we're okay. So I don't have to. These screenshots are kind of heavy, so I kind of turn everything off. What am I doing? Oh yeah, we're gonna do the. Sometimes you are a DP. So I'm going to screenshot the fences. This is here. Now there's 4 of them. I definitely don't ship 4. I think I only do these ones. I think I skipped the second one, so let's look at this. There's the post. So we center you up. Oh, we're on some slow speed here. That's okay. That's the angle. That's fine. Let's jump into our 40 mil. Well, it's not mil, but whatever. And G. And I have to custom this thing, so we're gonna do. Okay, custom depth. There we go. And get the screenshot tool out here. Cool. Screenshot 1. Look at all these screenshots. Good God. This is a waste to have the OS cache all these for me right now, but whatever. Okay, so it's there. There it is. Next. Just turn this off. I don't think I have this one. Yeah, that's the full wall. I am not going to put that one out. We're just going to do the halves for now. So we'll turn this on here. And I still have not written a way to automate this process, but whatever. That should be fine. So next one. Just double check that that's fine. Worked. Okay. And this is the 4th one right here. Has the gate. I'm gonna make a lot more fences, but this is like the setup for it. I don't think I'm gonna do spline stuff for it. I think modular is the approach. I don't know how many people want like round walls. You can make round walls with just smaller pieces and turning them. That's going to be the way for now. Spline tools are Oh, I wrote the Christmas lights tool. I forgot about that. That doesn't serialize either. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that one. That was just a test. It looked cool too. I liked it. But I don't know if it's ready to go out. Okay, so that didn't work. Yes, yeah, I don't know. I don't think anyone's gonna care. We'll see. I know like the 2 people that want to use that. We'll try it. Yeah, so that's the screenshot. Okay, so those are the fences. What else is the rocks in the terrains? Let's go get those. And then the prefab, and I should make a pipe room, but essentially that's the beginning of the terrain system, which I wish I shipped it on version 5.5, but I didn't. I definitely finished Mandalorian and Witcher, and I watched like a ton of them over this break. All amazing. I can't say too much about Mandalorian, but yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah. Works on, yeah, I can't talk about Mandalorian. So what am I fucking doing? Rocks. Yeah, so exterior. Did I put this in this exterior folder? Sure as hell did not. Okay, so where the hell are rocks? Damn it. Let's see. I guess they're props. Urban. Oh yeah, there they are. Oh god, I gotta organize this stuff soon. After GDC, that's like we're contenting for a month. Like we're contenting until GDC, and then after that, I'm gonna kind of step back and look at it, and then organize it. I'll kind of have an idea on like what the new way is. That's a shit rock, but it's going in there for now. Spin. There's your good side. That's a terrible rock. But it's that's the first Houdini rock I ever made, and then we'll make better ones. I still gotta work on that script. Now, did I just make a new window? I don't want to open up. Yeah, I do it. These are like, oh shit, I hate that about Windows. You don't do that. There we go. There's a rock. A rock screenshots. Blop. Bop. Bop. I didn't custom depth it. Now, actually, I don't know how to screenshot the one with the grass. We'll find out. We'll find out in a second. So deselect it, screenshot, make sure that these are still having alphas. So 3 fences, 2 rocks, and now it's terrain time. These are much bigger, so it'll be a little different. You can figure out some of the shots. Yeah. I can too. I know exactly which ones are. They did a good job. Like, and you can tell. I mean, it depends if you care about like critical acclaim or YouTube acclaim. I care about YouTube acclaim. The amount of videos that are out there on YouTube about Mandalorian and how it looks good and like the visuals, and there's they did a good job. Like it like I think like is people think it looks good, so that's the test. That's it. It's also super fucking funny. The the season finale with the stormtrooper shooting the cup or whatever on the ground is amazing. It's fucking amazing. I was dying watching that. It's the Jon Favreau. Oh, he didn't direct it, but Jon Favreau's like a comedy director. And I just feel like that felt like very Jon Favreau to have that scene in there. I forget who directed the finale though. But he wrote it. Yeah, between The Witcher on Netflix and Mandalorian on Disney Plus, I'm good. I'll just watch. That's like, it's like we have like 2 Game of Thrones shows going on at once. It's crazy. Screenshot. Yeah, I don't know if the grass gets screenshotted or not. It doesn't matter for how far away we really are. I could despawn it in the instance. I don't know if it's. So is this exposed? Where are the class defaults? It's not exposed. Doesn't really matter. So can I put a custom depth on this? You can. Okay, I'll see if I can screenshot the grass. It moved. That's funny. Okay, so let's see if this will actually screenshot then. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. That looks fine. Let's make sure that it's true. Yeah, it looks patchy and shitty, but whatever. Beginning. Okay, easy stuff. Put this one in there. Instance meshes. Now, okay, I see. We're just really close to it. There we go. With these terrain systems, Cine Tracer is like almost Cine Designer. Like, not that many Cine Designers got to the point where they were building out things like this, but there were a couple. And me. It was all photogrammetry based, and we were building like pretty cool stuff. This gets it there. Now that you can like build your own like chunked out, like, because I used to do this with photogrammetry, now it's all Houdini. It's getting there for the environments. Like it's starting to shape up. Did that screenshot work? Let me see this. Yeah, okay, it worked. Good. Kill this. And this Houdini style environment approach, I can do a lot. I can do a lot with this. And now we're spawning it and sculpting it, which means I can like run noise over it in Unreal Engine instead of Houdini. Like there's a lot that can be done with this system, but it's got to all start with like something basic like that. Build the base class and then just keep iterating on it, making it better. I want LiDAR. I want to bring LiDAR in, but it's the same thing with integrating with like Airy master wheels. It's like cool, like 5 people in the world will ever use this. Wait a minute. Yeah, so that's this one. This is the corner. Yeah. Okay. So last one, and we don't do the Sculpting one. I'm not going to change the names now, which will which will be an issue later, but I should change them now. If I change them right now, I'll change them now. Okay, I'll change them. Just make things easier later. Now, I really want the lighting to show that that's darker, but just put these out there. I think I've screenshotted everything. I'm going to change those class names because this will be a nightmare later. I don't think these are hard referenced anywhere. I'm going to delete them one at a time because of Unreal Engine. So let's go to the blank menu. Not rendering anything. And I'm going to change those. I'm going to delete some stuff out of here. Deleting is always bad, perilous. I almost want to like back up the project, but it's not too many. There might be soft references to these still. Let's see. Oh, clean. Goodbye. Okay, good. So there's no references. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. One, two, three, four. Did I take 4 screenshots? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, good. And then let me look at this 8 one. This is the one that can be sculpted. And the only difference is that you call init procedural mesh in the beginning. That's it. They're either all sculptable or they're not sculptable at all. That's gotta be that. That's gotta be that. Yeah, that scene was good. Oh, he directed Thor. Okay, yeah, that director. Did he do? Is he the one that directed that Hitler comedy too? Is that the same guy, or is that someone else? Yeah, Thor Ragnarok's fucking hilarious too. The rock character. I love that rock character is hilarious. So I can delete 08 because it's basically 04, which will soon be 01 with 1 call in the front of it. So do I need this for testing? I could call this like I'm gonna pull the number out of it. I got to like kind of clean house before I'm just gonna call this test. Now, are you referenced? These are all referenced by the data table. So this is see how bad this is. Okay, renames are not as bad as deleting is like a lot more hectic. Okay, so we're gonna call this one 01. Let that chug. 2, yeah. 3 and 4. Amazing. Amazing work here. I'm going to go process the thumbnails, and technically this update is ready. I think it's the terrain update, pipes, fences, just more Houdini integration with everything. Houdini has really saved my ass with producing these static meshes. If I had to do this in Maya, or Blender, I would have less. There would just be less of them because it would take longer and it's more annoying. Okay, so those are renamed 1, 2, 3, 4. We have screenshots. Oh, we need to screenshot the prefab, and then I'm done for now. Oh, I shouldn't have closed the map. Oh well. Last screenshot. Only 9:40. It's not lunchtime yet. It is not lunchtime. That's the status. Okay, collection. Where are you? Collection. Park. Oh boy, there's a lot of stuff in there. Wow. Oh my, yeah, so at 2 this would take a few minutes. I'm just gonna, so, you know, like, I'll stick to my rules. It's gonna be like this, and then I'll the scroll over thumbnail will go closer onto the park itself, like that. Yeah. I think I just screenshot these naked like this. I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit because it's square. We have no grass culling in most situations. I mean, I don't know how most games do foliage. I feel like most games put foliage on landscapes, and then like by now they'd all disappear or be cards or something. But I've not written that. There it is. There's this one. Make sure that came in. So that one doesn't have alpha. Then we'll fly into like. Am I still in 90 degrees? So I'm gonna switch this back to 40. This becomes 90, and I'll take a screenshot that's like kind of shows more like what it feels like to be like in the level, and it's square, so I need to kind of be considerate that like. And then this is basically my film back when I change this. This is what I don't. CG cameras. Oh, my daughter's home. Square. This thing is square. We need to do it like this. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Hello. So those should be the thumbnails. Go process those, drop them in the data tables. The pipes park terrain update is done. They are behind the scenes sculptable. Not going to ship the sculpting though yet until I fix it. This course starts soon, I think. I think it starts like January 26th or something like that. I have to pick. You basically pick an environment you want to make, and then you all make it together as a group with Clinton kind of guiding you. So I need to pick out what environment I want to make, and then I hopefully end up with something that looks anywhere near this level. I don't know yet. I want to see what everyone else picks in the class, and I'll kind of figure that out. Jojo Rabbit, yeah, okay, yeah, that was the same guy. Oh yeah, it starts the 26th. Holler. I need to figure out what environment I want to make. I don't know. I'm gonna start Photoshop. I don't know what I want to make. I guarantee you I'm the only person that ships the... like... I mean, that's not true. There's a lot of professional artists who take these courses. I don't think these are like high school students. I think these are mostly like freelancers or people that want to get into studios. Probably the only person going to ship the assets they make in that class, though. You're back. Did you go to the grocery store?
No.
You didn't?
No.
You didn't? I thought you were going to. You just go to school, come back.
No.
No? What'd you do?
We just...
Answer took too long. It took too long.
Wow, how...
One at a time for these things.
How did you store your toys, Dad?
How did I what? Who what? Oh yeah, I moved them. I bought a lot of Witcher toys. That's what I do now. I'm an adult man child. Watch a TV show. I'm like, I need to go on Amazon.
Dad, it looks like
It's
your
about to
dog
be
is going...
about to be all Mandalorian and Witcher toys up in this shelf.
It looks like your dog is going on an airplane.
Yeah, that's the Unreal Engine sleeping mask right there.
Huh?
Huh?
Do you? That's why
Haven't seen what we do in the
That's why
shadows.
Mommy doesn't like to sleep. That's why Mommy doesn't like to sleep.
Why?
Because he can't sleep.
He sleeps just fine.
Hey, Daddy.
What up?
You know what letters look like Hebrew letters?
Which ones look like Hebrew letters? This?
No, just this one.
Oh, the W?
Yeah.
I don't speak Hebrew as well as you guys. I don't know.
Some of them look like Hebrew letters.
I'm gonna take your word for that. I don't know. This looks like the folder. This is an unorganized mess though of thumbnails. I'm gonna say T. What is this? It's a fence. It's fence 1. That's all.
Dad, touch your dog's nose.
I saw that. Next, fenced post. No, fence
In the nose.
fence gatey thing. I play an absurd amount of Call of Duty Mobile. And it's really helpful to play that game compared to the PC version because like it's so low poly that I can actually understand it. And it's still incredible, like the maps that they make on an iPad and how well they play, and they look really good. I don't know. I consider that research. That's research time. But there's a lot of, I mean obviously, but there's a lot of things that look like this. Same resolution, everything. How do I what?
How do you actually sort this?
How do I sort it? I didn't really think about it. I put all the Unreal Engine swag into one corner, and that was about it.
And Daddy, I actually like. I like that boy with the blue hair. He looks kind of cool.
Yeah, that's Ninja in bobblehead form.
Some of them have
I want a
headphones
shroud
and
one. Mixer's gotta hook up the toys for their streamers now.
headphones and
Fence
both.
3.
Some of them have headphones and hats.
Hmm. What?
Some of them have headphones and hats. Both.
Yeah, they do. I think they all have headphones because they're all streamers.
Yeah.
Look at this potato.
But this one looks like you.
This is my website ecom background shining through right now.
The mustache. See?
Yes, they have mustaches.
And beards.
T-O-F. I was supposed to give these things
And beards.
like, oh well, I've been naming these kind of poorly, but
And beards. And beards.
it's supposed to be T_icon,
And beards.
but I still don't have
And beards.
that many if I have to go rename
And
them.
beards.
And beards?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have beards. Potato Rock number 2.
And Daddy. But actually, other. This one is kind of wiggly. See?
Yeah, that's a literal bobblehead.
He's wiggly, always wiggly.
He has wiggly.
He's wiggly,
These terrains and then the what's it called? The
You
PreFab.
make him wiggle like this.
That's true.
You always wiggle.
You know what's coming in the mail today? A big fat Witcher toy, a gigantic Geralt of Rivia
I can't
toy.
wait
It's gonna be
to
awesome.
see it.
Me too. I think it's coming today. It's coming soon. It's considering getting a Witcher sword.
Hey, Daddy.
Why not?
Hey, Daddy.
Only live once.
Hey, Daddy.
Yo, what up?
This used to be your monkey.
This is terrain 1.
That monkey's on your desk. Look, the monkey's on your desk.
There is a monkey in my desk and in my room in general.
Yeah, he's still your monkey.
He is.
He doesn't have my flag. It's your flag.
That's a Beanie Baby. Do they still make Beanie Babies? Is that the first time you've heard the word Beanie Baby?
Well,
You'll not distract me from my task, monkey. This is work here.
and he has a tail.
He does.
It's super long.
Oh, screenshots. Making
Daddy,
screenshots.
Look, he's looking at your phone. Look, he's looking at your phone.
I think how big these are, you may not be able to tell what shape they are, but we'll see.
like a diamond.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is they all look like diamonds. Yeah. You can kind of tell the shape. Find out.
And some of them are actually.
Yeah, I took them all from the same kind of like side diamondy ortho shape tech company logo style.
Hey, Daddy, look. Your monkey is looking at the phone.
He is looking at the phone. What time is it? It's not lunchtime.
Oh, I got it.
This thumbnail looks so bad. Why is this guy so blue? It's because I guess I'm like looking down, like light blue. It doesn't look very good, but oh, this looks stupid, like this. But you know, we'll have to just think on that next time we do this. This is the very first thing I learned to do in Photoshop, is copy and paste flat colors and then pull them like that. That's the first thing I ever learned. Now why is... Oh, because it has layers. It's like it should have auto become a PNG. Where are the prefabs? They're in here, I guess. So we just want to jump on the next number, which is 10. Really? We're at 10. This was 9. The last one I put out was that building. Ah, okay, sure. 10th prefab. That's a terrible icon. It's like, what the hell is this? It's a green rectangle. This is way more, explains way better what's happening. Looks like a graveyard. Looks like and that didn't crop square very well. Okay, so we can't go wider, I see. Okay, so we'll just do this. Not the best thumbnails, but we're good. Where'd you go? Here you are. Okay, thumbnailing done. I don't think I'm coming back to Photoshop, so I'll free this up. And we import. To make mountains, is it easy just to switch the material on the terrain mesh for you? I have to make that material, but yes, yeah, we could do that. I also just have to make meshes that look like mountains. Like this, you can build up with these. Like you can just keep building them up, but they don't look like mountains. Basically make like a mountain. You'll just bring out a mountain. We could make it today, probably in Houdini. It's like really easy. But it depends, because like before things were a lot simpler, so everything was kind of like one material and you could put any material on anything. It's no longer like that. We have trim sheets, we have tileable textures, we have like one-off substance painter ones, so I can't just like switch the material on everything like we used to be able to do, because it's more complicated. So it's more like I have to just make a mountain material, and then it's like, what do I want to spawn on it? Like what type of grass, or do you spawn rocks onto it? So it's more like just producing it. So it's a little more than just the material, but yeah, basically. I'm not inclined to allow people to switch materials on things like this anymore, because there's just more nuance to it now. So meaning like if I gave you a full editor, it would be very big, and I don't really want that. I'd rather be like, take out a mountain, there's a mountain. Don't worry about what the material is. Don't worry about stuff like at that level. But yeah, this is the beginning of that. I have my strategy techniques for like generating them in Houdini. I've broken them out into tiles, materials, foliage now. So it's like, it's really like a mini Unreal Engine in here. It's getting there. You know, nowhere near the control, of course, but you don't really want the control either. Yeah, I'll just dump them in here. Let's get out of this. This costs to sit in this room, this map. Get out of here. And thumbnails. Very long folder name. That was my test. Yeah, when you package this, the sculpting is pretty fast. In editor, it is not fast. It's very slow. Oh god. Okay, so rock, terrain, and there's fences. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I have so many buildings I want to make, but I have to kind of like move around the system. I can't just build buildings for a month if you don't have terrains. If we don't have, I forget what's next. I got a list of shit, but basic fences and terrains were next, so that we can build out like what looks closer to what the old maps were. People still super pissed about that. Like, sorry, I gotta kill those to make these ones. So we're gonna UI compression is an interface, and then we gotta go get the prefab one too. So save all those real quick. These ones again, unorganized craziness in here. The graveyard, our graveyard set. If I just go make a tombstone in Houdini, we would literally have a graveyard. So these don't have anything special. I mean, I guess I can still throw them into like the UI class. There's really no need, but just do them one at a time. Interface, UI, or group, not class. Save. Might as well. User interface, UI. Yeah, we're gonna get bunk beds soon. I mean, not exactly like that, but yeah, in general.
For mine would be pink. I would like it.
I think it's gonna be white, but you can have pink sheets if you want.
Yeah, but can mine be a castle?
Maybe. I mean, yes. We'll just say yes for now. Yeah, it can be a castle.
Daddy, do you remember when you said you sleep in that one?
Which one? I do, yeah. No, but I was kidding. That's for you guys. Wait, terrain, hill, corner, sculpt. We took out sculpt. Fuck, what did I just do? Oh, it's this one. I was kidding, yeah. Oh, it's the wrong X. I hit the wrong X. That's okay, though.
You said the wrong
Fence. Terrain, rock. Terrain, park. So let's put the rocks at the bottom. Like that. Okay. Thumbnail time. This is just like making an ecom website. Fence. What? No, they're not new. I just moved them. Got a lot of Fortnite toys. Okay, so how am I gonna set this up to make this easy for myself here? We're gonna do this here. This is the other fence one there. This one here into terrain 1 is this one. Terrain. This is the hill or the ramp. This is corner concave and this is corner convex. This is the park prefab, which has 2 pictures. How do I add a second picture to this? There we go. And this thumbnail's so bad, but that's the park. Then we do the rocks. Those are Megascans rocks. We're going to be getting rid of those once I have better ones. Because those are open meshes. They're not procedurally generated, so they can't do the things I need them to do. But they do look nice. Okay, so those are the thumbnails. I think that's it. Go look. Did I save this? I did. Oh, I deleted it and then I thought whatever. Okay, so prefabs is the park. This thumbnail is so stupid, but that's what's gonna look like for terrains. If you screenshot the whole thing from far away, it looks very abstract. But the rollover shows it, so we'll spawn that out. Let's test it. It should work. It's pretty cool. I can make the seams perfect, but I wanted to see what it looked like if you like made them like pillowy, like these like kind of pillowy intersections. I think it's gonna work. So yeah, there it is. The beginning of a part. I can build out like I can make like a whole like path down the middle and like different things, but that's really what I want the users to do. But maybe I could make like a more involved park too later to prefab it. So those are those. And the new stuff are pipes, the fence piers. Let's make sure that these are the right ones. Okay, let's just go over here. Oh no, there it is too. So here's the, these are called piers on a fence. Well, those are the right ones. Let's look at this one. So this is the solid fence. The tiling is not perfect on the textures, but again, it should be fine. Yep. So that's like the general idea. If you go into editor mode, you can. It's not like easy, but you can do this. You know, we can't do this in the building mode yet. You know, so you could get get artsy with it. I know a couple people that do this. They'll get this instantly, but. Alright, so you can if you go mouse style, you can do all sorts of stuff. And our gizmos, I have to come back and fix this gizmo, but I still only have local translate and local rotate on the gizmo. I haven't written the global one or any of the other screen space translation. I haven't written any of those. I don't want to either. I don't want this gizmo long term, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get rid of it. Anyway, yeah, so those are the fences. 04, or not 04, 4. Make sure that this is... Oh, look what we made. That's cool. Little, just very cemetery-like. So the fences are here. Thumbnails are right. And what else? The terrains. So exterior. Okay, I gotta kill these. I'll just leave them for now. This is the first one so bad. These are getting better. Yeah, just make sure that these are the right ones. And our potato rock. Let's go over here. Plop. Whoa, a lot of walk. Lots of the grass. Oh yeah, you click it and if you scroll, it does this. But that's not written anywhere. I don't feel like updating the UI. I should probably update the UI so it says scroll. It should be a little bar on the left. Should say scroll to add grass and take it away. I gotta write that, but like anyway, you could also just take out your mouse and just do the this thing. This is like less fun though, and then you can just randomize because I don't cache the position. It just updates them randomly. Looks like it's like water. Looks like water. But yeah, so those are. This is step one of putting what's it called, foliage on stuff. So there's the hill version of it. Oh, I need to change the vertical snapping. We're gonna go do that. I'll change that first. Okay, there it is. And lots of grass. So this hills up to here, and because it's modular, you can then you can just build another section up here, and you can just start building out your environment this way. So it's very this is how I build them. Even if I'm using like a landscape editor with brushes and everything, I'm still just like, here's a hill, here's the flat part, here's the. It's like I think this is like a good start for it. And then it's like, oh, I want like really spiky mountains, but that's just going to be its own asset itself, and it's going to be bigger with kind of like forced perspective, like. But yeah, so it's like flat, ramp, flat. Same thing as the other system, the building system. Then we have this one. Okay, it's a little hard to tell what the hell is happening at this because it's so close to you, but oh shit. I gotta fix the vertical snapping. I'll fix that before I ship it. And then this turns it. You can go this way now. If I still had the skateboard in the game, you could like definitely jump off of that, but I got rid of it because it was broken. I gotta redo vehicles in general. When we do car updates, I'll make it so that all the drivable vehicles work the same way and they're better. That's the corner this way, and then we have a corner that is this way. The convex corner. Drop some grass on it. So that turns the hill this way. And from this, you could build pretty much like the shapes you'd want. Kind of like a boxy way. So those are the main environments. Right, thumbnails, foliage is spawning on. I'll save this. I haven't done like any real performance checking on how this is working, but so that's the rock, and there's the other rock. It is okay. So thumbnails are good, prefab's good, terrains are good. Rocks. So let's see if serializing is still working. If I don't really remember what was going on with this. Did I put these rows right on top of each other? I should have started with a fresh one, but that looks like the right. That looks good. My little custom-y one here. That's good. And then this one. There's a lot of grass on the screen. I think we're okay. Performance size. That's my check. That's my performance check. And I mean, if it chugs a 2080, we're fucked. Like we're in a bad place. But yeah. So there's only like, I mean, there's a lot happens with like an actual Unreal Engine landscape, but like hitting the like 60-70% mark of it, we're not super far from it. Like I'm not gonna have all like the, I'm not gonna LOD the. I mean, I guess I could LOD the mesh. I don't want to because we're relying on the vertices to spawn the grass, so I don't want it to LOD. But we could do some sort of LOD system in culling and the things that like landscapes do for performance, but I don't really want to. It's actually something I fight against in a lot of cases, is that like, you know, video game performance is a different parameter than visualization, what looks good. Like those are different things. So I just have to kind of like pick and choose and balance, like what do we actually performance check and when do I just say like you need a better computer. And foliage is kind of like one of those cases. It's like you want lots of like moving, awesome looking foliage. You need a computer, like a real computer. Can't help you. There's no way to fix that. The way you fix it is get rid of it. If you have a crappy computer, you just turn off foliage. That's the universal game fix. Or just switch it to planes, which I am not going to do. So in general, the landscapes, like this is just like oh look at that. This is still just like a demo experimental, but it's gonna work. I can spawn foliage however I want. I just need to make better foliage, different sizes of it. We're using, what's it called? The grass wind thing. So the grass moves, we can make big grass and all sorts of different types of grass. And you'll be able to spawn it onto any of the terrains. The terrain sculpting will work. If I can get some sort of like fake voxelization to kind of like merge these together, that would be nice too. And then it's about me just prefabbing them back together, so that we have the same sets we had before. It's like make a beach one, make a forest, make a mountain that has snow, blah blah blah. But they'll all be made from these tile sets. And then I could have like ultimately like make a random mountain and then just keep snapping it down there. Oh yeah. So one of the next things that's going to be tricky, I don't know how to write this yet. I have a couple ideas. Is paths, roads, landscape splines as they're called in Unreal Engine. Like, so we have this, like, say this is like bumpy terrain. This one's pretty flat, but say it's like really like kind of nuts. How do I drop a road down this at runtime that's easy to do? Because like landscape splines are not easy. You need because then you need to flatten the road, and the new landscape layering system looks like it's nice, but it's not like Houdini where like it'll sculpt into the road for you. I need to come up with some sort of like simple road system on top of this one. And if I can get those three things all working together, you know, modular tiles, foliage, sculptable, with any sort of like road system on top of it, it can build anything. Like at the level that I care to take this to. I don't need this to be like an actual video game level where everything is like perfectly seamed. I just need to have like there's a road and there's grass and it looks like reasonable. This is the little bumpies. I'll chill that out a little bit. I can just it's the amount of smooth I'm doing in Houdini. I can fix that, but you only know once you look at it here. Yeah, like a road system would be it. Unless it's always just like these kind of like blocky ones. But like, how would I put a road up this? I don't know quite. Actually, I think I know. I think I can do it. Like if I make this mesh. This one have a lot of subdivisions in it. I can basically, it's going to be expensive. I can basically just ask for these positions as I'm going along here. I can just ask for the vert position and it can just kind of like magic stick to it, like shrink wrap to it. And the mesh is always like kind of like 20 centimeters, 40 centimeters off the ground with like kind of like a mound around it. And I just kind of like shrink wrap it to the thing and I could just go, just draw a road through it. I think I can do it. It's a combination of this and the cable system I just made. which I think that still works. I could update, I could go serialize this too. I guess I will. These are kind of cool. I think I wrote this Christmas morning. Yeah. It's kind of like how that works, except it needs to query. That's going to be really expensive. Every vert on it needs to query like the closest vert on the static mesh and then push down towards it. And I'm going to have to write the tangents for the spline underneath it really in like a very flexible way. This is a not flexible tangent. Like it doesn't work if you I still gotta keep working on it. Splines are take a lot of thinking. Like the tangent's broken. So it does like an S because it's only it's not reorienting itself like you would expect it to. So it's kind of funny. So from this angle you can't actually perceive that it's wrong, but from up here you can tell that the S is wrong. So stuff like that needs to get, once I can get all of those different variations, like the tangents rotate towards the end caps, blah blah blah. Then I'll basically write the same thing for a road, and then I can just put like road, curve, road, and it will just have to shrink wrap to this. I can't imagine, that's going to be very expensive, but it should work. So if this won't save. If you try to save the cable, it won't save its shape and it won't save the light bulbs, but you can always still just like kind of come back and add them in. There's no UI for it either. It's scroll. It's just a test. This is the first thing that this is like the third or fourth hierarchical instant static mesh thing I've built. But just this concept alone, like it's like a runtime spline, which would normally be a huge pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to set these up. And then just like spawn whatever you want across them. It's the same idea with the grass. Like this came before the grass. Once I did that one, I was like, okay, I know how to do this one. And then there's just taking the whole thing away from the user, and I just do the whole thing procedurally to build different environments. I guess I could serialize that. I don't know if anyone cares about this one. This is just a test. So what happens if I save this? I think the wire is still there, but where is that thing? Oh, there it is. Oh, the boxes went away. Interesting. So the cable's still there. It just lost its shape and it lost its the light bulbs. I don't care about that. That's good. This is still just like super testing things out. But behind the scenes, this is a road system, and it's also a precursor to the grass spawning. It's the same concept, except we're instead of asking, like this grass asks for positions on a mesh, this one asks for positions along a spline. It's just the same idea though. And then it's abstracting this even further so that this spline is like, I need to be like add spline to building, and it finds 2 points and it droops it down to a certain amount that makes sense, spawns something across it that makes sense, and then instead of the user actually even placing this themselves, they just say add like vines or add cables. It's like I want this wall to have a ton of cables on it, and you just add cable button instead of like actually art directing them yourself by hand, which I think is gonna be better. Same thing with the pipes. It's like, actually, let me just test these pipes. I think this is new for the system too. It's like some people may get to the point where they're gonna build pipes themselves. Like they'll actually place these. I mean, there's no other app that makes it like this easy. I should probably break this into a different folder. It's probably good to get reacquainted with these actually. Let me look at this one. I gotta make the tutorial video. This update requires a tutorial. There's too much new stuff to just kind of drop it on its own. I need to fix the height snapping for the landscapes. Like some people might go do that, but in general, some people might, like, I think it'll be more like add pipes. Like you just look at this wall and you're like, pipe it, and it just pipes it. Because the rules for this are fairly straightforward, and it would just like randomly add pipes to this using the rules I have. That's probably more likely what's going to happen. They look at this one, be like, pipe that one, pipe this one, and just starts putting the pipes together and snapping them. I think that's more like what I want. In VR, this would be a lot of fun once I finish the procedural part of it. You just like wave your hands and like pipes like appear everywhere. Versus like placing each one by hand, like you have to be like kind of into level design, but let me make sure those save. They do. Oh, the cascade shadow, blah. But yeah, pipe's good, fence good, terrains are in, we don't sculpt just yet. Is that everything? These categories are bad now. I need to kind of work on that. But I'll tell you, when I rewrite because like when you hit tab, you're gonna have a tools menu now. So this whole thing is getting rewritten anyway. This is kind of old. This is back when I was like doing iOS programming behind the scenes, and I was like, I'm gonna make this menu like a Swift menu, and it's bad. It's a bad idea. But yeah, this is like kind of like an iPhone UI almost, a bad one. Exterior. So we have some new exterior stuff. I should probably kill this, but I'll just leave them for now. Yeah, probably, yeah. I have a lot more insight into parametric stuff now that I've been doing Houdini programming. The grids, I still like. I think these are cool, but I don't think anybody uses them. Street stuff. I mean, I have a lot of different like urban things. I need to go make them in Houdini. But yeah, those are good. So commercial. I mean, these could be broken out. I'm just gonna leave them in there. Oh, the train. I think that's everything on this park. I could go make a little pipe thing. Let's go make a pipe thing. I'm gonna make a pipe thing, pipe prefab, and then that's I felt like I did something today. It's the beginning of being productive again. Collections. So I should probably just like name these like prefab 1 instead of how I'm doing this. What am I calling this? CTC? Yeah, this is bad. This is where like I need like a any like senior game developer would be like, this is how you fucking name things in your game engine, instead of I make it up every time and it's a problem. I need to fix the terrain heights. Where are they? But first, okay, so we have only 4. Okay, so I put the first terrain system I built was closed mesh, so it had like a bottom, and then I made it so you could stack them up and down, like kind of like Minecrafty. But that ultimately is a bad idea. Like it doesn't. It's very cumbersome to use, and I knew what I was doing, and it was cumbersome. So I'm gonna snap them at 400, because that's how the rise of the ramp is. They're designed to be at 400 tall. So I went full world grid modular with these instead of partial. Like snapping at 100 is too finite. It's too hard to snap it together. Like people won't get it immediately. And they're also huge, so it's a little bit. This is kind of the limit I've found, that like anything bigger than this, you can't place in third person unless I like widened up the camera like No Man's Sky style, or went like free camera, which I don't want to do that. So anything bigger than this gets kind of awkward unless I tell the build tool to like push it further away from you when it's building it, which I haven't implemented anything like that yet. The physics gun has like a concept of like, it asks for like its bounding box scale, and it'll change how far away it comes towards you. Otherwise you end up inside of it and then physics freaks out. Oh, so I only have 3? No. Why is this called Terrain 8? How did that happen? Why is this called Terrain 8? I just never renamed it, huh? This is 4. I see. I thought that... Wait, what? Okay, whatever. This fixes it now. I think the defaults were actually exposed back there. Yeah, so 400. So this like makes the snapping more straightforward. Let's double check that that's gonna work. One, 2, 3, 4. There it is. Okay, so if you have to go real up, so like the likelihood that someone's gonna do this is low. It's like you're gonna kind of like look at the ground, right? So it's like, because before it was snapping up at 100, so you had to like look down. It was bad. So this makes it like pretty straightforward. So the same thing with this corner. Yeah, okay, that's better. Like that. Yeah. Oh, okay, that was the wrong corner. That wasn't a corner at all, actually. So wait, 3. There we go. So there's the corner for this one. Just make sure this still places correctly. Yeah. So those are the 4 pieces that can put things together. I mean, that like geometrically, that represents quite a bit of what landscapes end up being. There's variations in them, and like, you know, I'm not building caves or anything. I'm gonna do caves the way Fortnite does caves. Because we don't have like I can't like dig a hole. I don't have a voxel. I can't voxel that yet. Okay, so that was the snapping for that. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, I was gonna make another prefab. Let's close these. Prefab with the pipes. Make like a subway. I'll basically remake the map I made for the first demo of it. The player controller. You're all done. That's a big class to leave open too. So collections. Let's make a subway thing. I'll just start it from scratch. I need to remember to implement the world snap to it after. Child. Why did CTC? It should just be like I don't know how to name these. I'll just make it another subway. I think I have one already, don't I? Oh, 3. I'll rename those in a second. I'll rename those later. These ones I can rename and it doesn't break the save files, which is very good. But most classes, if I change the name, it's kind of chaos. Okay, so we'll build it out of the subway assets, and then I'll add pipes to it just to kind of show how this works. And I could go add pipes to the subway prefabs too. I could do that. I'll have to re-screenshot it then. Let's see, where are blocks? Blocks. I think it's this one. Oh, the columns. Okay. These are all named very badly. Is it this one? Let me look. No. Oh yeah, I forgot about these. Yeah, I was making these in Blender. Yeah, we're not definitely gonna do those in Houdini. There's no way I'm gonna. Yeah. Okay. So where's the floor? That's a wall. Where's the floor for this thing? Floor. There it is. Subway. It's that one. This one. Subway. Cine Designer is good for photography. Do you mean Cine Tracer? I know that's good. They're really similar. No, I don't. I don't think photographers do pre-production. I'm married to one. I don't think they do pre-production. Unless they're like a CG photographer that, like, you know, they do like those big ad campaigns that are basically like you took a picture of a person but the rest of it's CG. I don't think they need to pitch the way that filmmakers do. They need to plan. It's a photo. It's so much you're doing post-production on one photo or like 5. Whereas like the film industry, you'd be doing, you know, you're doing like entire scenes and 24 frames a second. There's a lot more. The payoff for planning is like much higher and more necessary. Let me double check. Did I already look at this? I think I did. Yeah, it's that one. Okay. Whereas like photography, I don't know if they really need to do it. And there's a program called Satellite 3D. I would use that. No, that's a custom component. I need to not use that. That's like kind of for like and he's been updating it a lot. I've been following him for a while. He's got like really nice humans in there, and it has like photography assets and stuff, and it's like kind of simpler. So I think that's probably the way to go if you want to do photo previs. Just use Satellite. I don't really want. I don't care. Like they can, but like I don't really tool this for photographers. I don't name things like how a photographer works. I don't build photography assets really. We could, but I think specializing is the way. As an indie developer, it's like I'm not gonna build the like generic tool for the world. That's not gonna happen. But I can build a very specific one. That being said, I know photographers that use it, but it's really not tooled for a photographer, and I'm not sure like the photographer business model really needs it. I could. So I'm just gonna make I'm gonna remake that room I made for the demo as a prefab. It's literally like a dungeon in a video game this level. Things are so much easier if you set the snapping to 100 in Unreal Engine Editor. If you're using assets like this, it's so much better. Yeah, I'm just gonna make a mini one. I'm not gonna build out that same one. It's like a lot longer. It's like settle. Oh yeah. Set a light like that. For still photographers, I don't know if I'm gonna. What's up, Paulo? Oh, my neck. Okay. It's not so much like that I could make photo stuff. It's more like high level. What do photographers do? Like, why would a photographer spend time in pre-pro like this? Like, what are they doing? It just doesn't make as much sense to me. It could. I have a lot of reasons why not to focus on that demographic. It's bigger, but it's less technical. They spend less. There's a lot of market things thoughts I have with it. Just it's like, man, that's not a market I want to be part of for this project. Whereas the film industry, when this turns into a virtual production app, has like a lot of connections. I think I don't have to build. People will get it instantly. Like the second I show how I want this to work, I think people in the film industry will get it, that are used to like shooting people against green screens and then like comping it in After Effects and making these CG backgrounds. It's like once you can do it in real time like this and you can treat it like footage instead of like visual effects, it's more like you're actually just shooting again. There's just less dots to connect for people to get it. Photographers, I think there's a long road to walk for them to care. But yeah, the tool set would 100% work for photographers if I built photography assets. I mean, there's a very small difference between photo assets and film assets, but how they're used is a little different. Like a photographer uses lights differently. They do weird shit. Again, I just don't think they have to pre-visit. Oh, the modular dance. I like the speed I'm at. 3 is pretty good for in here. Ooh, I should probably implement some speed things for the editor pawn in this too. And the gizmo. I need to fix the gizmo. I don't know how that's not higher on the list. Every time I take that out, I'm like, this is garbage. And then I just never update it because it's super technical to program that thing. It's like I need to like prepare myself and then be like, yep, we're ready to do this today. Take out the vector math hat. Oh shit, there we go. 12. I could build this set so much faster in just using the Cine Tracer snapping. Ah, there it is. Okay. There's our wall. Yeah, filmmaking I think just has a lot more pre-production needed. How it looks the same for outsiders, but it's a lot different. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Uh-oh, wait, what is this wall? Oh, never mind. I see. Okay, never mind, yeah. Actually, I typically do this for this part. Okay, let's just dupe this. Actually, duplicating all of that's so to make this manageable, it's actually easier to do this. Now, where the hell did those go? Did that? Okay, I don't like what. There they are. Ha, yes. Oh, and they're all stacked together. It doesn't actually matter, but I'm gonna take them out. All that structure disappears as soon as you instance this into a level. What the fuck is that? Okay, this is bad. What was that? Why did that? See, this is upset. Like this is not like copying pasting is not good. It's weird. So it's not. It's like I think it's still. Yeah, I don't know. And now they're all like, I wrote satellite in the thing. Okay, fuck this. I'm gonna just do it by hand. This is why I do the one by one because it's like. I maybe I'm just doing something wrong. Floor. I think I meant to write satellite in the chat. I think I did, and then I wrote it here as well. I'm gonna do them one by one because that'll work, and I don't have to fight it. Never mind. Something zen about this anyway. If we were in the map editor, I think it's a little bit better, but duplicating within the blueprint editor is like really rough. It's not that many of these anyway, but whatever. I don't hit undo in this in Unreal Engine either unless I absolutely have to. You would know if you used it. No undo. Oh, which COD? What? Oh, Call of Duty. Oh, we're talking about Call of Duty. Oh, it's good. The PC version's like the best looking video game I've ever seen. It's incredible. And I play the mobile version every day since I got it just because it won best for like the Game Awards. Call of Duty Mobile won best mobile game. I was like, oh shit. Okay, try it. It's like, let's try this out. I am hard addicted. I think I've spent like an absurd amount of money on their skins, like a lot. Like, I understand how they make so much money now. Like, someone like me comes in and it's like, spend a lot of money. And there's probably a lot of me's buying all this fucking COD skins. I want all of them. It's typically how I go into a video game. I'm like, I'll just buy all of these. And so, they make a lot of money, but it's awesome. I love Call of Duty Mobile. It's like Counter-Strike, but on my iPad. So I can do it like anywhere. I like that a lot. Mobile games will definitely they probably won't get rid of PC gaming, but like I think mobile gaming is on the rise and PC gaming is on the decline. And I don't even play PC games anymore. I really don't. As I'm making one, I play all mobile and Switch and a little bit of console. But like to turn on my computer and play, it's like work. I like don't do it. And this computer's so fucking loud. I hate gaming PCs are so loud. It's like something definitely a big plus for the Mac Pro. I know the gaming community doesn't think much about the Mac Pro, but like Mac Pro is silent. I wish my computer was silent. That would be awesome. This thing is so fucking loud. It makes recording audio in here so bad. I need pipes. I need some pipes. Okay, so it's too early to dock. I need to go get the pipes. I really wish my computer was quiet. That'd be awesome. Every time I record something, I have to like low pass that thing out of here because it's like right next to me. Where are the pipes now? Industrial? If I had named things correctly, this would be so much easier. Oh, there's a folder called pipes. Hooray. Wow, I made so many of these. Really? I have this many? I might as well put one of each and then just start to dance them around. So I'll just make a component here. Right. Pipes. What's this from? What are you? What's that? I have to figure that out. I moved stuff. I have 8 different types? Really? Did I ship 8? Uh-oh. I think some of these aren't actually in the game. I gotta look at these. 1 second. What are these? That one's in there. For sure. I'm hungry. That one is in there. Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I have 8. I see. I got it. I cleaned these up. So I renamed them and everything, so. I'll put one of each in there. Only bought a PC rig to run your... yeah. For content creation, PC is the way for sure. I'm saying like gaming. I don't know. I mean, obviously there's a huge PC gaming scene. Obviously, it's gigantic. But like, if I'm honest with myself, like what type of games I want to play right now, I'm like, I'm more casual. I just want to like sit in my bed and play. So I guess I'll bring one of each in. I don't know if this is a bad approach. We'll find out. Oh no. This is probably a little bit too much all at once. Let's do the first 4. Put those around. Yeah, noisy. Had an iMac and a MacBook. They were fine. Yeah, Apple does. I mean, they control the whole chain, right? So they part everything together. They can hit a sound spec, whereas like a PC computer, they have no idea what. Every part's individual. Like they don't know how you're gonna build it. So let's undo that. Let's snap at 90 for these rotations. Whereas like the Mac Pro is like, they control every component that goes into it. So it's like perfectly, everything just like works together and is like silent. Though, yeah, you can't even add like third-party fans to it. But yeah, I wish this computer was like the Mac Pro, though it would cost a lot more. Now, where's 4? Where did this go? What is this? Where are you? Oh, you're a ceiling pipe, I see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I'll drop some ceiling ones in there. This is a lot easier to do in-game than in editor, in like an editor mode like this. Because it just does it. It just places it for you. That's the idea with this. Is that this from there? Yeah, there we go. I didn't play the Resident Evil. I watched what's his name? Fuck, the Hearthstone player. What's his name? The Asian Hearthstone player. I forget his name on Twitch. I watched him play it. I just watched the Let's Play. Narrative games. I don't understand how they allow narrative games to be played. I mean, they're not gonna take that away, but live stream it because I'm like, I don't need to play that. I just watched him do it. Like a game like that, I could just watch someone play it and I'm good. I don't need to do it myself. It's not like open world, you don't. It's not that RPG like you don't like make your own character. You just find out what happened. I don't know. So I didn't play it after games like that. I typically just watch them if I don't have time. Whereas like Witcher, I was like, I'll play Witcher. Like try to get the different 3 endings. It looked good. They're making another one, right? They're remaking. That was Resident Evil 2, and they're remaking 3, I think. Yeah, I like Apple's closed ecosystem a lot. I can't quite use it yet, but it's gonna be there. It's gonna get there. I only use Apple stuff when I need to. Other than their obviously phones and tablets are god tier. I don't even think there is another tablet. I know there are, but like I would never. There's really no consideration to use a different one. So I'm gonna make this component, these pipes, and I'll make another one for the other pipes. Just these are like the small pipes, and there's like bigger pipes. But the iPad Pro in the direction of their tablets is like is the future. I mean, like that's why I'm pushing very hard to get this to work on the iPad Pro because like I use it. It has a pencil now, which is really nice. I'd like to build pencil integration stuff, and it's so small. It turns on instantly. It's silent. It renders really nice Unreal Engine games. Like there's a couple Unreal Engine games I've played on it. Infinity Blade, that Apple Arcade Zelda-looking game. COD Mobile looks incredible on the iPad Pro. So give that like 5 years, and it's gonna be incredible, and it's just so much more convenient than like a laptop. I really like it. But until everyone finishes their metal integrations, I can't use it for graphics yet. But they're going to. They're working on it. I was there for the announcements. Like they're gonna make it happen. But I think there's like there's a bigger change happening in computing than that. Like that's like I think that like the Mac versus PC thing, it's like it's kind of over. I think there's just like a new direction that they're moving everything. So, and that is the direction. And there's such a good They have such good developer support. So whatever direction they take the hardware is what everyone's gonna do, in my opinion. That's, I mean, I'm pro Apple. I know there's people that like can't even like stand. They just live to go on Twitter and shit on like iPhones. I'm like, how could you shit on the iPhone? It's like the number one. Well, it depends where you live, but like, I like the direction they're pushing things. I like the way that they handle WWDC, etc. I think that stuff's all really awesome. And whatever insights they have onto the way that, like, you know, personal computing is going to work, I was like, I pretty much trust whatever they say is going to happen. They've not been wrong. They just kind of, you know, made the most popular phone and tablet in the world and then stopped making kind of like a... They did that before they kind of like cleaned up their high-end PC stuff. But that market's kind of small. Now, I don't have ceiling pipes for the big pipes, I guess. Again, this is so much easier to do just in like Cine Tracer. Here, I'm like, I like don't like laying out like this anymore. I don't like using I don't like gizmos and stuff. It's just slower. I don't like going to ortho views either. People want like top-down views. I'm like, I get it. I don't know why. I don't like switching ortho. It's like really one of the main about VR is like you don't switch to a different view in VR. You just stay in VR because it's like you're using your eyes, you know. It's like you don't, and I like laying out in 3D. I don't want to switch to an ortho view. I don't want to abstract it into 2D. I want to stay in like 3D view. And so like editing like this it's kind of like it's imperfect. Like I can't move it doesn't feel like as fluid. I can't like tell like where things are. And I don't have the snapping rules built in. I just feel disoriented in these kind of editor views still, compared to when I write all the snapping rules myself or VR. I think what is it? The Focus is still sold out. I want to buy one. That's what happened. Like they announced Half-Life Alyx and then they sold out instantly all of their stock. And I had the same. I was like, fuck, I needed to buy one of those. That looks incredible. Fucking Valve and Epic Games, they make the best games. Like they're just like Epic made Robo Recall. It's like still like the best VR game, mechanics wise, and then Valve's making Half-Life Alyx. It's like those are the best ones besides like Beat Saber. Let me just play this PreFab, and then I'll look at it. But I don't want to play with my Oculus Rift. I want a fucking Index. I want the real one. They sold out. I'm on the waiting list again. Fucked up. I should have just bought it, put it on my shelf, just had it from when I wanted it. It's just that when they announced it, there were no games. There were no games for the Index when it was first announced. I was like, what am I gonna do with this thing? So we're gonna put that PreFab in it. Where to go? Do we have all the pipes instanced? I think I do. So I can just keep kit bashing those things around. It's the collection, right? So where's collections? What time is it? It's not lunchtime. Park, Subway, CD. There it is, Subway. That one. So let's go look inside of this thing. Subway. What are we calling this? 4, I guess. I'm gonna call it Subway Pipes. The names don't really matter. Not yet. Collections with an S. Yeah, there it is. I'm gonna make a new save because I don't want to keep deleting that other one. Let's call it 5. We're in 5.3 mode here. Subway. Yeah, Subway. That works. Okay, PreFab, there you are. Nope, missed. Okay, you don't have World Snap on. That's fine, whatever. Put that on in a second. Yeah. Yeah. What I really need to be able to do is like lay it out in Cine Tracer and then save that as a PreFab class. I can't do that though at the moment. I haven't written that backend. But like placing the pipes in here is just way better on its own. Just way better than using an editor. Now it's not clear. I should like write on its ceiling. It's kind of hard to tell which ones are ceiling, which ones are walls, but whatever. But like it's so much easier just to be like pipe. Just the orientation's baked into the app. You know, you have less control over where they go, but they just just go there correctly instantly. I like it. Like I don't want to go back into the editor and finish this, but anyway, pipes. So that's working. I just need to keep arting it out. So that was done. I do need to make more. What's it called? I'll need to screenshot it. Screenshotting the interior ones are kind of hard. I basically like, take the roof off and take it from up here, but it's not quite right. Using .34, was afraid to download the latest one because the video said there were no maps. Yeah, there's no maps. Yeah, so the maps were, that's how I thought I was going to distribute different maps, like different biomes. 1 second, is this a duplicate? Tis. Okay, I'll just kill this. But the problem with maps is that you can't, like once you make a map in Unreal Engine, the user can't change it. And some of them had baked lighting, which that means the user can't move anything in the map, and they can't change the lighting. And while that's kind of nice sometimes, in general, that's not what this is about. Like, we want to be able to change anything in this, and we want to be able to build whatever we want. 1 second, where's this pipe? This guy, where are you? That one. So in general, maps, for those two reasons, are bad. They're not very good. And on top of that, as I add new features to the game, if I have 10 maps and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, let's write this new feature so that people can, like, say, walk around, I have to update that for 10 maps times every feature times every map. So given the direction it was headed, I was like, what? So I'm going to have, like, more maps. I'm going to have more features. This becomes unsustainable to update for me. It's not going to work out. And that's sustainability of this app is probably number 2 on the list as far as development for this goes. Number 1 is that it's, like, usable in production, even at all times, even if it's, like, you know, experimental in beta, it's still usable. That's, like, priority 1. Priority 2 is I don't make something that is too daunting to update or impossible to update. Because priority 1, if it's not usable, we can't sell it. It's like, that's not good. There's no money. Priority 2, if I can't update it, I don't develop it and it dies. So those are the 2 things. So it was a kind of a sustainability thing. That maps going in that direction, it's not possible for me. I keep having more maps, having more features. It's impossible to keep it updated. And on top of it, you couldn't change anything. So the whole thing was kind of shit. So I started to move into full modular, kind of taking a note from, yeah, I'm going to wrap that pipe around. A note from Fortnite Creative, and instead of, like, I mean, they have maps, but Fortnite Creative is a little bit different. Instead of loading in maps, you just load in assets, essentially, and they're all modular, and then you can delete them, and in my case, you can modify them. Though there's not that much modification happening on these right now. And it's gonna be more like, it enables users to, we haven't done it just yet, but share the maps that they make in the app. And that scales just fine for me. Like if users go make like 1,000 different maps and people can just download them, I don't have to manage that. And they're not maps, they're just prefabs that we're building out here. And share those, I don't have to do anything to maintain that. Versus if I make 50 different maps, it's like a desert. I have to maintain all of those. It's not. I'm not going to do that. So it's both technical and just like parameters of the app have kind of evolved. And maps where you can't change anything, borderline worthless. Like they're not reusable. Like so, like maybe like the house, like those maps. Like I question like which maps people want to use. It's like, they're not very usable. Now, where's the gizmo for that? Oh, it's at the bottom, I see. Whereas how I build them now, it'll take a year. But they're completely like they're modular. Like these pieces can be reused over and over and over again. And what was happening is we were getting maps that had assets that didn't make it back into like the normal prop pool. they were only present in those maps, and that's bad too. Like, well, it doesn't make sense. So in this one, every single thing you see in the prefabs or in the game, you can then use yourself too, which was that was not part of the deal with the other ones. Yeah, well, that's cool. You get it. I mean, it's kind of like, it'll take time to prove it. I mean, I can talk all I want, but it's like, long story short, eventually, these prefabs will look as good and be better than those, and that's what matters. It's like, I just do it. It's funny. There's like a hard divide in the user group. I know them. I can tell by like the tone of conversation when I talk to people about it. There's ones that were here before that update and ones that were here after. Like there's a lot of people who got in at 5 and after. You know, there's a lot. And they're like, cool. They didn't even know what the other maps were. But then the people who used to have them, they, you know, especially I think the motel set was really good. It's gonna take me a while to have that set back, but and the baked-in lighting, you know, there's something to the baked-in lighting. Like the first time you load it up, you don't have to do anything. It just looks great. There was something to that, but long term, that's not the way to do it. And it doesn't scale also well. Like every time I added a map asset, it would add like 5 gigs to the executable. So I was just looking at the direction of it and just being like, this doesn't work. A year of this direction doesn't work. It makes like 100 gigabyte download, and then it's too bloated. I won't be able to update it, and I fucked myself now. Like I can't do this. I can't make this app anymore. So that's violating principle 2 or priority 2, is like make this so that I can actually do it. And the other thing that happened about the same time was Houdini. Because it's kind of overwhelming to make all these assets myself. I was like, because I'm not a 3D modeler. I guess I kind of am now, but it's like not, I don't think of myself that way. I was like, I don't want to 3D model all this shit. It sucks. Like, it's not a good use of my time. But if I can do it procedurally, then it's an okay use of time. Because there's like something new to learn. Because like this game, I want it to be procedural, like everything about it eventually. So I was like, well, let's use Houdini as like a reason to learn more proceduralism, and then eventually bring that into Unreal, which I've already done. I started using Houdini. All of a sudden, we have an in-game sculpting landscape system. Like that, it's already kind of like started to kind of come in. Let's see what pipe is good. I need more pipes in general, but and with Houdini, like, and I'm not like confirmed yet, but I think I'm doing a presentation on Houdini soon. It's like you can like save your progress with 3D modeling. Like these pipes, I don't have to like go back and be like, I never touch the vertices on this thing. The whole thing is is parameterized. So I'm like, oh, let's go make like 6 more pipes. I literally have to open up my Houdini file, change a couple sliders, maybe make like a new spline path, export it. I don't UV it by hand. I don't do anything by hand. And I just spit out in like half an hour 6 new pipes. No big deal. Whereas like modeling it is like, it's linear. It's like how much time you put in, that's how many pipes you get. With Houdini, it can be exponential. You spend the time up front, I'll put out 50 pipes, and that's just too many. I don't want 50, but like the output rate is not linear. It's not like it's not linearly. This kind of dies there, but that's okay. I'm gonna get some columns in here. My output's just more with Houdini, so it feels better, and I feel like I'm learning about procedural stuff. So those things kind of happened at the same time, and I got better at Substance Designer. Like I've made this tile and stuff like all together at once. There's also this initiative that I have to own the rights to every asset in the game, so that cancels out maps as well. And then I need to be able to optimize and control the shaders of everything in the game to get it on the iPad. All those things pointed to one thing, and that was deleting every single map. So all those things together, maps went bye-bye. Now, I mean, this I hate laying them out by hand. I want to just jump back at the editor, but I need like a column or something just to start breaking this up. Exterior, what do I need to organize this someday. Industrial, that's what it was. I should have like a subway column. Yeah, there it is. That's such a bad name for it. that will definitely have to be changed. So I'll make a new one just for columns. Hope that's the right one. I think it is. It won't really make sense until I have... No, that's the wrong column. Do I not have 400? I hope I have a column with this material on it. I should. I thought I did. And I sure as hell do not see it though. Oh no, here it is. Okay, well, I don't know which one of these it is. I need a bricky column so I can start break this up a little bit. Oh, I could put pipes. Oh yeah, I forgot about those. I could use those. I think it's this one though. Nope. Sure as hell is not. Okay. Ah, it's this one. Okay, this one. I'll take that. Yeah, I'll use this to break things up. I guess I'll corner cap. It's gonna be kind of weird, but I'll just corner these. Put some middle dividers through the room. It'll be like kind of fully realized once I have it so that you can use other people's maps. And maps, I mean prefabs. So I have to write the thing where like you can create a map. Like you make a map, it's like you spent like 6 hours making a warehouse or like a school. It's all made with our modular assets. It's just a data. It's like literally like a tiny data file to save it. And I just have to share that across some sort of network. You download it. And now it's like Google SketchUp or Google Warehouse. Like you can just use all the maps that people make become like a central repository. That's not possible with the map system, but it's possible with a prefab one. So it's just like Fortnite Creative. Like they constantly, you know, people in Fortnite make Fortnite games. They have whole games that they make. Ours, they just need the maps. And so you'll just like log on and be like, not just my prefabs, it's like what the whole community has made. You can just pull from that. That only works with a system like this. But you know, until I build it, it's all just talk. But we're just building the foundation of it. Cinema Light assets. I could add more equipment. Yeah. The thing is, like, they're just models. Like, it doesn't really change anything about the lights themselves. Like, all the lights that are possible in Unreal Engine are in the game already. Like, examples of them. Like, so not that much will change. It'll just be like the 3D model of the light. So that's why I've kind of stopped iteration on that. Whereas, like, I have an almost infinite amount of sets to build in humans and, like, kind of control structures. So I'm kind of holding off. And I kind of also know that, like, if hype dies down a little bit on the game, which has not happened somehow, that will bring it back if and when I need to do something like that. If I just spend like a month building out more film assets and then, you know, stuff like that, it's like that'll you know, like you said, that's like one of the main draws. So it's on hold, but it will happen. It'll happen. Just, I don't know if you know Cine, like the project before this was Cine Designer. Now I don't like these pipes being so symmetrical, but I'm just gonna stick a bunch right there. Do I not have vertical ones of these? I need to make more pipe variations, but these came out like 5 out of 10, so we'll just keep these for now. I need more to vary this up. I'm like running out of things to do here. I need like kind of like the utility boxes that have pipes coming out, and that'll be the next step in Houdini. But I have, well, I'm actually going to make Houdini light generators now and stand generators. I might do that before GDC actually. What's the day of the 6th? Oh my god, it's the 6th already. I have like 300 or 200, like 200 to 300 assets of film equipment. I already have them. And the project was going to be to convert them from Cinema 4D Expresso files to Maya files or Blender files into Unreal Engine files. It takes a while. But now I'm going to make them all in Houdini. So I'm going to remake them all as kind of like procedural assets instead. So that might make it a little easier too. But I need to replace the set system, which is the current one. and get this on the iPad. It's gonna look a lot shittier, you know, just like everything gets like, you know, lower quality textures, lower quality meshes, blah blah blah. You're not gonna be able to light very much in it, but it'll be really, really nice. And I think that's the way that, like, as an on-set tool, it needs to be on an iPad. Like you can't, like, laptops, like if you're doing pre-production on your own, it's fine, but like there's no space on set for a laptop. No one has space unless you're the DIT with a cart. But like someone can carry out an iPad, and that's kind of where things have settled with computing. So like it's really a target hardware. I really need to get that up and running, and then bridge it back to the engine. This is kind of it. I'm super bored of making this. I don't like doing layout in this editor anymore. Like I need more pipes, whatever. That's like the idea. Again, like I don't personally want to spend a lot of time making prefabs because like that's not like it's like not my thing. It's not my specialty in this world. It's gonna take time, but I just want to build the pieces and the tools, and then people build them. Someone else builds them, and then I just share those. Oh fuck! I need to snap them. I need to put the snap back on. But there it is. This is like it's more just like a tech demo of. I was like, you should be like, you walk in here and it's like, this is possible. Like you can make this yourself. That's the idea. And then someone does a better job of it. I'm not saying everyone who uses it is going to be like, oh, I know how to build this. It's like someone will, and I will share that. That's the idea. I should put more time into this, but I'm just not going to right now. And I need like just a lot like medium. We need small props now. It's like trash can, dumpster, trash pile, stuff like that. We'll get that all in here. We're gonna make a trash gun that you shoot at the wall and like trash like falls down and fills in the corners and stuff like that. The physics gun is like the precursor to the trash gun, where we'll just like shoot debris at stuff to just like dress it up, or just like mega scans, debris pile kind of things, like just little mounds of trash that we'll make in Houdini. Just voxel them all into one little clump. But yeah, so let me put the snap on that and screenshot it. And that's kind of how I prep updates at this point. Oh, you've been following it since Cinema 4D? Yeah, so I mean, it's all possible, but that stuff was like years ago. I have like a different approach for it. Really, I need to make the stand generator. That's one of the things that limits it, is there's like 100 stands in the film industry, and you kind of need all of them to do proper tech viz. That being said, there's 100, but there's not 200, there's not 300, there's only so many. So once I have if I make the script in Houdini so that we can generate the stands with the animation rigs, which is gonna be hard, I'll make every stand, and then I'll make every light, and then I'll make all of them. But you kind of need the sets first, in my opinion. The cameras suck too. The cameras are so hard to use. But I don't want they're usable. So I need to make they just stay how they are for now. There's a lot of things I want to do differently with cameras. Snapping. Okay, so we have to implement this manually per instance. It's rough. So why have a class if I have to do this? World grid snap. I guess I could go put this on the base class at this point, but I'm not gonna. Like what? Oh no, that's actually wrong. Okay, yeah. So again, at the end of this whole process, unfortunately, there might be another wipe. I mean, there's gonna be wipe updates throughout this whole thing. Like at a certain point, I'm gonna be like, this doesn't work anymore. I need to like kind of like just change the structure of these, and then all the save files get wiped again. But that's just kind of what happens. So we're gonna 400. But we'll just leave the version online that's before that for people in production. Like when we ever get to like .6 or whatever the version is, like, you know, in like 6 months or something, we're gonna have to do like a big re-reg to clean it all up. But then the environment system should be good. We'll have like terrains and like roads and buildings and props, and it'll all work together. And then it's about getting the humans to interact with that stuff, because once we control all the chairs and the doors, then we should make it so that they can open the doors, they can sit. All that stuff's got to go down. Let me check this one out. Make sure that world snaps, and we'll take a screenshot of it. Okay, it's oh, I built it to the side. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. It's just a demo. It's like you can come move it or you just go get the pipe assets that are kind of hard to find, but they're in here. And because it's on the world grid, you can just start adding your own pipes to it like this. Again, this was never, like, with maps, you could never do this stuff, you know, but it'll take time before this is out of the box looks as good as the maps that we had. Those maps kind of suck too. Like that was like literally like a timeline of me learning Unreal Engine. Each one of those maps was like, how do you make a desert? How do you make a forest? How do you make that sort of stuff? Now I take all that I learned and I'd say, how does the user make a forest now? You know, like, I know how you do it in Unreal Engine, but how do I make it so that the user can do it in Cine Tracer? So it's kind of like the evolution. I had to learn how to do it first before I could make it so that other people could do it. Yeah, it's weird, but it's a demo. Just going through like all the things that are like in video game environments, and then we'll probably start to make our own stuff that's like a little bit more unique. I need to screenshot that one. It's not the best, but it just shows it. I just want prefabs that show all the things. And I need to make it easier to load the prefabs and then delete them out. Which is, I don't know like design-wise how I'm going to approach that yet, but I kind of want like, yeah, I don't know. But I want you to be able to just like scroll. I just want you to be able to like scroll through the different prefabs in the level. I just don't know how to exactly make that happen yet. It's not technically hard. It's more like a design thing, like what menu is it in? What does it look like to the user? That part I don't quite know yet. But at some point I think it'll like kind of click and I'll just go rate it. And then you'll be able to just scroll through all the prefabs really quickly. In 3D. Now where is this thing? Collection. Subway. There it is. Blop. So to start, I'm going to hide all the floors, the ceiling ones, and then just take a screenshot from like up here. I thought the equipment companies would give you the 3D models. Those 3D models are garbage. Some of them will, but they're not usable in a video game engine. They're just like for most CADs. Well, it depends on what manufacturer, but most of the CADs are designed for like Vectorworks, which there's yeah. So like Vectorworks. Or they're like, if you're really good, if you're in like a business relationship, they'll give you the SolidWorks files, and then you're supposed to use those to like engineer accessories, you know. But they're not. None of them are like, here you go, here's the Unreal Engine version. Like that doesn't exist, right? So they basically don't work in game engines. They require a ton of work to get them to work in an engine. So much to the point where like you might as well not use them. So you can get them, but they don't work in engine. So I do them by hand, and then now I'm going to basically make them procedurally in Houdini, which would be even better. That's the answer to that. But yeah, and that's like the top 5 question request is more lights. I'm like, it'll get there. It will get there. I don't know. This looks like some weird. Whenever you come out to this ortho view, it's like, what the hell is this? But it's a pipe basement. I don't know. Pipe basement. It will happen. I spent 3 years modeling a ton of lights and dollies and cranes, so I know how to do that stuff, and we'll get it in there. But more important still for me is just like rounding out each system individually. Systems being cameras, lights, sets, people. What was the other one? I guess props is now sets, but getting those looking right first is important. People, and then it's going to go after this, which we're doing environments. It's going to go people, like the actor system, which there's going to be a lot of stuff changing with that. We might do mocap. We might do a couple things. What was it? Oh, then cameras. Yeah, cameras have a lot of things I'm going to change about them. The cameras that are in the game are from the alpha. I have not touched the cameras since the alpha. That's how old they are. But that's how much they work too. They're kind of okay. But there's a lot that can happen there. 90. So we'll put the roof back on, then like do something like in here, like, you know, you get the idea. Like the lighting is gonna be kind of flat. I forget how I deal with this. I don't put lights in the prefabs yet. I could light them for you, but it's a performance concern that like There's some computers that they shouldn't even be lighting. They shouldn't even use lights at all. Just use the sky and the sun, and that's how much your computer can handle. So it's always kind of a battle. If I could profile for like you need a 2080 Ti, I could pre-light it perfectly for you, which is again why Apple's closed ecosystem of the iPad is kind of amazing, because it's like, cool, I'll profile for like, you know, iPad whatever, I forget what version they're on. It's easy to profile for them because there's only certain models. Like it's really nice, and then I know it's like designing for console. You know exactly how many lights they can handle. Because I'm a PC game, I have no idea what your computer is, so I can't add stuff like that. And that was another problem with maps, is like some people, it's not your problem, it's my problem. It's like the amount of people that would email me and message me they're like, oh, this map crashes. It's like, oh, cool. So what's your computer? It's like MacBook Air 1329 2009. It's like, yeah, of course it fucking crashes. It's like it's impossible to spec for that. Or it'd be like, you know, some like, you know, integrated, there's still a lot of this, but it's like all integrated GPUs and like on like super old computers, and they would just crash on load because they were kind of performance for like a 980 and higher. So lots of issues with that. So I can't put lights in here. And let me tell you, I don't get any emails anymore of people saying that it's crashing. So that's a win for me. It was crashing. It's your laptop is fucking garbage. That's why. That's not a good answer though. when I get that email like 50 times a day. Yeah, this is fine. So there a lot has been solved by switching that out. But I do kind of like, I do get consoles. It's like, you know, like PCs are faster, but for a developer, it's almost like, because people be like, oh, it's like, I guess I don't own one, but like if I was going to like be a serious gamer, I was like, cool, I'll have like a Titan RTX. And I was like, make games for the Titan RTX, but then like most people can't, you know, don't buy $2,000 GPUs to play games on. But it would be cool if we could. And Apple's the only one that looks like they're able to do it. It's just like close ecosystem builds and don't allow modularity. It's fucking genius. It's so good. Like it's how iOS is so dominant, and how there's so many apps, and how there's so many millionaire app developers, is because it's closed ecosystem. You can develop to spec perfectly, and like people aren't gonna like, you know. You just have like this. You have the parameters to build the app, and then you build the app. Whereas like PC stuff and desktop stuff, it's like all this like performance, and just different computer builds. It's maddening, and it makes it like almost makes it much harder to develop for and sustain, I think, compared to iOS. So that's this one. But we'll see how computing pans out. Seems like it'll probably all just go to the cloud, and it'll be based on your internet speed more than anything else. Long term. Not no one, but the general population will not own $1,000 GPUs. It won't make sense. You'll just have an internet connection. You'll just use an iPad type computer, which are super fucking fast already. And you just tell a remote into the app. It's being run on the cloud. Basically, that's how a lot of things work already. So we're still in the era of like people owning GPUs, but I think in like enough time, you basically won't. And then my spec comes down to like cloud compute stuff. It's like how many servers are we running? How many GPUs can someone afford per hour? Sort of thing, which people are gonna be super pissed about, but that's the way computing's going. Like people are like, I want to own my software forever. Like fuck subscription. I was like, you are not going to enjoy the next couple of years. That's going to go away. You're not going to own software. Unless you want to use like, you know, Word 98 or something. Like if you want updated software, it's all sub. It's a sustainable model. It's got to be that way. You're not even going to own the fucking computer it's being run on either. You already don't. You don't own the satellites that send you your Google Maps information. You know, it's just currently free because they're mining your data. You know, you don't own the satellites. You don't own the computers doing that. You're just remoting in, and they just poop out some data for you for your phone. So the model's already here. We just have this kind of holdover of personal computing from like the early days of computers. We're still living that, but it's all going away. 01. 1101. Weird pipey subway prefab made. Okay. So what's this? A screenshot map? Yeah, let's get out of here. I think we're all done with this. Prefab. Now where's the maps? Where are we? No, fuck. No. Okay, whatever. We'll just load it. It's fine. I added wind. There's so much more. There's like so much you can do in Unreal Engine, and that I can expose to people. I can like make tools out of for Cine Tracer. There's so much, but I have to just like pick what I'm gonna do. I can't do everything, but like just wind alone, wind in trees, and how you can. It's just like you can have it affect the water. I mean, you could do so much with it, but you just gotta do what's like necessary. But I put a speed tree wind in the level now, which didn't exist before. You just can't change it. It's just like a low wind happening. But Kula made like a hurricane demo, and I was like, I could basically add that into the game if we wanted to. Collections. That's more like a virtual production thing, I think. Like how much you need to like previs like a hurricane, like not really. You do if it's final pixel though. Subway 03. It's this one. Oh, wait a minute. No. Okay, we already have the entry. I'm fucking this up. Okay, so we just got to switch out the thumbnail. I was importing thumbnails. That's what I was doing. We already have this one. I did this. UI. Inventory thumbnails. Is it lunchtime now? Almost. Import. There it is. Really hoping for simulations of cinema lights, like how bright M4. That's possible. I just have to rate it. I've been talking with Epic a little bit, or people, about how to rate like an actual in-game light meter. It's just kind of low on the list of priorities because like we need sets. We need sets. That's like I don't know if everyone sees it that way. I don't think they do, but I do. Like. We need environments. We need all the environments working. And then lighting. You know, you need something to light. So that's kind of like where we're at. But it's possible. I can build... I don't know if you've ever heard the program called DLux. That's kind of like one of the industry standards for like lighting calculation visualization stuff. I can write that into Unreal Engine. You won't find it as satisfying as I think most people think it's going to be, but we can write it. Because it's all visualization, you know. It's like I know, like when I first got into like computer graphics, it's like, oh, you can perfectly recreate reality, right? Like let's use a computer. Like it's not true in the slightest. It's all very, very rough math. It's nothing here recreates reality. Even like Spider-Man or top Marvel movie, that lighting is like it's simple. It's a simplification. So, you know, given all the simplifications that happen to make this happen, especially at runtime, the accuracy is just not there. And DPs aren't scientists either, so they wouldn't even know. Like I don't think like the lighting simulation we're really far away from it being accurate. Like really, really, really far. Like there's no way. So we look at, given the tools that we do have, even in like the 10-year span of like computing, lighting's not one of them. You can visualize it, you can make it look good, you can do art with it, but is it going to like simulate reality? There's just no way. There's no way. And then the thing about lighting too is you need to have models that are equally high fidelity to even see and appreciate the lighting. We can't do that either. You're talking like 2 hours per frame on like a supercomputer, and then you have to have like AAA artists, professional VFX artists creating those assets. Like you want Thanos, you want to light Thanos like accurately, you need Thanos. And like those assets are not available yet. So there's a whole lot of chains. So you kind of commit to like what quality level we have and what might be attainable, and you build for that. And lighting is just not one of those things. Like people don't even have ray tracing GPUs, so I could build, instead of building this, I could spend just as much time improving the lighting system, but how many people can even use it? Not many. I think that was it. I think that's the last piece of this little kind of like maintenance-y situation here. Let me look. So the prefab park looks so stupid like this, but if you use it, it's like completely usable. Like you know, if you want the beginning of a park, this is the formula. You know, if you can figure out how to keep extending it, it's possible. Or if you need a small park, it's good to go. It just looks really dumb as a thumbnail, but that's a park. It's the beginning of our exterior system. It's not much to make this into a beach, into a mountain, into anything. Just a more artwork generation, and I'm gonna use this tile set size. I think they work together. This is base 4. That's base 16. That works. And this is pipes, and that was fences. I think that was it. So we did the buildings with the facades. I can build. I want to build these. These are fun to build for me. I want to build more, but it doesn't matter. Build a couple more variations. Then I can have a whole city. That would come next. This is a classroom. These are some of the. This is earlier. This is early stuff. This was the road systems. The residential system needs a lot of help. There's a lot of houses. But I can build the ones that need to be built. Yeah, so maybe the next steps are like, you know, beach, mountain, just more exterior terrains. Should make it more straightforward. So it's like package, blocks for release, done. Prefabs for release, done. Fuck this security. Thing that keeps popping up. Number keybinds, I don't really know. I tried. Yeah, so next is either like I should probably do the tools. So that's like Unreal Engine edit programming. Make the tools swappable. Finish the dirt gun. Bring out the sculpt tool gun. Maybe make a fire gun. And then we keep building things. Like, well, I have some stuff that's like kind of the virtual production stuff, like in the wings. I kind of want to rate it. We're going to control people at runtime with Xbox controllers is basically it. Because, you know, not that many people have mocap suits, and not that many people even have iPhones that can do the face capture. From my polling, not enough people have them to implement it. Whereas everyone can buy an Xbox controller for like $50 or whatever, or a PlayStation controller. Not everyone's going to buy a $1,500 iPhone, so kind of looking out for the wide demographic first before I do any iPhone shit. There's also another technology coming out possibly that I might do instead. We'll see. Yeah, Houdini. Back into the Houdini dance pretty soon. What about RTX? Oh, nah. It's gonna be a long time. I don't even expect it in my lifetime, to be honest. Like, computers are, what is it? Moore's Law is, like, kind of over. Like, it's, we're not gonna see, like, we're not gonna see as fast a increase in quality as we have seen over from, like, say, 10 years ago till now. That acceleration is slowing. So, I kind of don't expect in my lifetime to see, like, actual, like, spectral, like, hyper-realistic rendering. Computers aren't going to get that much faster unless quantum cloud stuff happens. But how expensive is that? How much power does that require? You know, it's like Bitcoin was like kind of an interesting case study on like what's the max capacity computers can function like right now with networking and taking like 50 GPUs and networking them all together. Like, how much can you process? It's still not processing light, you know, the quintillions of like fucking photons, but like we only render it like 4K, like the amount of hairs you have to have on a head. I mean, if anyone's gonna do it, it's Unreal Engine, Epic Games. So we'll just kind of watch what they do with like pushing like the full realism at real time. But I don't see that happening. Not in a way that a DP uses light. You know, like the way that you bounce light and diffuse it and multiple diffuse it and bounce diffuse it, that'll never happen, and that's never gonna happen. I can fake it, and that's what I do. I can make like little faked versions of it, but to actually do that, you need like runtime, like 12,000 samples, and it's not gonna happen. You know how many samples I use in Unreal Engine right now? I know it's like early days. I use 2. It's 2 samples. You need like 12,000. I don't think computers are gonna get that much faster, and they don't have to be. It's why stylized art looks better on a computer than realistic. You know, it's like maybe someday that would be cool. Again, if anyone's gonna do it, it's Epic Games and Unreal Engine right now. I don't see anyone else even coming close to that sort of stuff. So let's say so prefabs are good. Residential sucks. All this sucks still. We're gonna keep working on it, but it's there. These are all very good stand-ins, and they're representing like what we're gonna need to be able to enable the builders of the community to build. That's it. I don't expect everyone to build, but we have some people already doing it. And I'm gonna start reaching out to the other builders because like, well, we don't have to talk about that yet, but like, yeah, we need people in here to build, and they could get paid to do it. So yeah, terrains. I just like delete these shits, but we'll leave them in there. These are good. This is the base of it. I wanted to ship this on 0.5, but I just knew how long it was gonna take, so it took like this was like 2 weeks of work to get these, not the rocks, but to get this all up and running in a nice state. It's basically like a simplified Unreal Engine landscape. That's pretty cool. And I mean, we're probably, I don't know how far we are from far off we are from like first level Death Stranding. There's like you walk through like a downtown, like New York City-ish kind of city, and this is like 60%, 50% of what that is. You know, much better art, a much better level layout artist did it, but like it's there. Like these are the pieces. It's just making better versions of it, better materials, better layout prefabs, and like I don't know what percentage, it doesn't matter, but like I can make this stuff look like how modern AAA games look, you know, to a percentage. You know, I'm not gonna spend like a full month as one artist like sculpting everything, but I can still get a lot of it in there. Spline roads, yeah, that's gonna be a thing. I think I can do it already. So that procedural mesh component has all the money in it. Where is that thing? Look at that for a second. I think I need to start doing the C stuff with it though. I'm not sure how much gets exposed up to the blueprint, but this thing right there that has all the stuff. So where's my sculpt in it? Yeah, this is it. You take a world hit location. Sphere, well, are we sphere tracing? What am I doing here? No, I'm basically just like asking for the vertices that are within 100 centimeters of that world location, and then I just push them up on their normal X amount, which would be the strength of the brush, which is just for now fixed, but you could make the brush stronger, you make the brush bigger. That's this number is the size of the brush, and where's the vector math for it? This is the strength of the brush. So if I just expose those as a tool option, that's landscape sculpting. And then you make a smooth brush, you make like a plateau brush, and you like that's about it, honestly. That's all I really need. And then I could take a tile set that's like what is this one? 1600. I could take one that's like 6400 and just procedurally run noise across it like it's Houdini, just like this. Very similar setup where we have to read from a texture, read from a 2D file, and then you could download like height terrains from like Google Earth and then just have them pop up in the game. I think that's a little bit too much for people though. I think we want to keep it simpler, but with just this mesh component and like a little bit more work with materials, we could have like a fully procedural landscape system in here, but I don't know who'd use it. It's like a technical artist tool. Megascans, I am not going to use a single Megascan in this project by version 1. But it's really good. If I was going to do virtual production or game development of a traditional game, I would 100% use them. I mean, there's currently, I stripped them all out. There's 3 rocks from Megascans in the game right now. That's it. Everything else is going to be mine, or warehouse stuff, or third-party stuff. Ready to get out of here. Those are Megascans. That's it. All the materials I've taken out. I'm gonna make them all myself. All this shit's gonna go. I just need to spend like another month, and I'm gonna replace all of this stuff. It'll be procedural. It'll use our material system. It'll fit better within it. I need to standardize the height. Like, I don't know the height of that chair, and I'm not going to go measure it in Maya. If I make them all in Houdini, I can make for damn certain they're all 30 inches tall, etc. Like, all this shit's got to go. We'll make procedural cars too. So I'm sure that's a bit of a challenge, but I think I can do it. This is all going away, but it looks like a lot. It's not that much stuff, really. I'm gonna the prison stuff. It doesn't matter. Trees. I'm not ready to do trees. That's a lot of work, but Houdini is definitely the tool to make procedural trees. You can also do procedural trees in Unreal Engine itself, though. You could just generate them there. I'm just not sure if people want to make trees. Like, if I make a tree generator, are we gonna make trees? I think me as a user, I'd rather just have. I'm like, just give me some trees, tree, and I'm done. Like, I'm bored. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, let's like, how many branches are there and how many leaves are on each branch, and like that's someone's game. That's someone's game in that. But I don't think people care. I think just having the right amount of trees. I think that even like people placing trees one by one, I think that people don't even want to do that. I think this approach is going to be much better. Of the train. Like, you sure as hell do not want to place grass. So we place grass for you. It's just how much, right? I think trees is the same. It's like, okay, give me some trees. And even more abstract than that, it's like, I don't even want to think about that. Just give me a forest. There's a forest. You know, like, I think that's what people want to work at, you know. That's why people like the map so much. It's like, I don't want to think about it. Just give me a fucking forest. Like, that's kind of how I think most people think, and how I think too. It's like, I want to make a film. I don't want to make a forest, you know. I just want a forest. No one's like, let's go shoot a movie in the woods. Give me some seeds. Let's start growing trees. You know, they just want to show up in the forest and start shooting it. Worry about the film stuff. So that's kind of like the approach. So really, I need like a forest generator, but we gotta build the pieces for that first, which we have a lot of. Okay, that's gonna wrap it for here. I feel good. I did stuff. This is my first day back. We did things. This update's basically ready. No sculpting, no dirt tools. So there's a bunch of like shelved assets or features in this that I just haven't fixed yet. I gotta do the tool. I gotta make the tools happen. Where is... Oh god. At least I put all the UIs in one folder. They used to be like everywhere. Half of these don't even need to be here, but they all have like... A lot of them have hard references out to other shit, so we don't delete them. And sometimes they get referenced. Yeah, we don't delete widgets. Things go super sideways if that doesn't happen, right? So I've like broken the whole project and had to revert it by deleting widgets by accident. It's like bad. So it's more like one by one. I have to very carefully delete them out. So that's why there's so many left in there. Oh, we're only on 3. Okay. I want to do like a UI pass, like these buttons and stuff are so terrible, but that's not probably the best use of time. Someday I'll come and update this whole UI to make it look pretty and have some graphics on it again and stuff. I used to have like a cool loading screen, but you know, it would be too much for low-end computers, so I killed it. Yeah, so that's gonna be 5.3. I'll probably just package it and then start building like the tool swapper and stuff, so we'll see. Yep, thanks for hanging out, Paulo and team. I'll check you guys later. Peace.